Host and usually your game master, James D'Amato. And this week we are going to be playing Blackwood, Leafstone and Silk. It is a Savage Worlds based setting that's on Kickstarter right now. I am going to talk more about the Kickstarter later as we move our way down to tonight's guest GM. But before that, I want to introduce you to the rest of the stream. And sitting right next to me is Allie Grauer.
Hello! You may remember me from such films as the time that James and One Shot played Dogs in the Vineyard.
Yeah!
And also Steamscapes, which is also a thing that Eric did. I mean, you did that.
I did.
You did that.
It's your fault. That's you. Yes.
So I did those things on the One Shot podcast, and you also may know me from the recently released Warda, which is a thing that Drew and I created together, and it is going to be a weekly thing, and we'll see you guys next week on Tuesday the 23rd for Warda episode 2. If you haven't seen Warda and you don't know what it is, you can go to welcometowarda.com and check it out on YouTube on One Shot's Twitch archive.
Yeah, and if you want to prepare for that episode at all, you can, like we said, head over to the One Shot YouTube and watch an archived stream of the first episode of Warda. Also, you can head over to the One Shot Facebook and just say that you're attending the event to receive a reminder for that stream when it goes up. Since we're talking about Warda, let's talk to Drew Mierzejewski. Drew!
Hi guys, how's it going? I'm Drew. You may know me from such things as everything that Allie has ever done.
Literally, it's the same thing.
It's just the same thing. I love it when Allie sits before me because then I don't have to say anything afterwards. But yeah, Warda. I host and GM Warda. And like Allie said, it's going to be coming up here on the 23rd, which is a Tuesday. So join us as we figure out what happened and where we go from there. So
yeah, mysterious murders afoot.
Ooh.
Super mysterious.
Or perhaps murders. I don't know what getting turned to stone does.
She turned to stone. It's really ambiguous right now.
That's a solvable problem,
safe to assume.
theoretically. Let's move on to Eric Simon. Eric.
Hello.
You're going to recognize Eric from the Torg episodes of One Shot that just came out, but also the Rockalypse episodes of One Shot, and of course the Steamscapes episodes.
Yes.
That were also Savage Worlds.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, I've been on One Shot 3 times, so this is my first time playing, so I'm super excited about being a little more low pressure, which is good because I figured with all the episodes I've done before, I know I have a good face for radio, so now I have to see if I have, have a good voice for video.
Yeah, I like that.
So,
Eric, you always have 10,000 things going on. Is there something you want to plug?
I mean, obviously, since we just did Torg, I will say that is coming up very soon, and I'm actually going to be, for Ulysses, doing a bunch of interviews on a road trip to PaizoCon. So I'm going to be taking a road trip to PaizoCon starting Saturday, and I'm going to stop at various game stores along the way and just do interviews and video spots about Torg. And
is Ulysses going to let you drop a date on us right now?
No. I'm afraid not. Sorry.
I always want that scoop! But Torg is coming up soon.
Very soon, yes.
Prepare your wallets, I guess. And finally, we have a guest GM tonight who's actually, I'm meeting right now, really, on the podcast because I was too busy setting everything up earlier.
We put bags over our heads and they took them off right before we went live.
Yeah. Sir, could you introduce yourself to our listeners and watchers, I guess? I have to get used to the fact that people are seeing us now.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Eli Kurtz. I'm the head honcho at the Mythic Gazetteer in charge of theoretical cartography. And
Eli, your
applied
personal camera's right over there.
Right here. My very own camera.
You get your own camera.
Hi, camera. Hi. So yeah, long-time listener, first-time GM. Very excited to be here. And we are going to be playing a one-shot in my Blackwood setting, which is currently on Kickstarter. Last time I checked, it was about 82% funded, and we've got about 2 weeks left to go. So we're in real good shape. And in the chat is a man named Sabaker, and he is my buddy Derek, who's second in command at the Mythic Gazetteer. So say hi to him.
What's up, Derek?
Yeah, he's right there. And yes, I am reliving my teen years with this shirt. It's very exciting. But also my 20s years.
Your teen years when you were a mutant turtle.
Yes, of course. I fought crime on the streets of New York. Okay. It was pretty cool.
He got better.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, but there's a balm. Anyway, so yeah, let's see here. Should we just jump right in?
I think we should. We should perhaps introduce characters, or actually, I don't know how you want to do it. You could do it like in the fiction?
Of course, yeah.
is your
Well,
stream
I think we should go ahead and get it out of the way to begin with. So why don't we just start with you, Eric? Introduce your character, say a little bit about him, and try to highlight one of his hindrances or his edges as you go through.
So I'm playing Owl Guntram. Owl Guntram is he's very much a sneaky kind of archer, trapper kind of person, your typical woodsman scout, I would say. He's got the trapper edge. He does a little bit of that, but he also shoots extremely well. Some of the Blackwood bowman edge, I have to say, is very exciting for someone who plays a lot of Savage Worlds, because it is something that I will abuse the crap out of.
Great. Glad you're planning.
Drew, I'm going to let you finish, but first I forgot to introduce. We got Pat O'Rourke on the ones and twos.
Thank you, James. It's good to be here.
Yeah, I want you there to comment on things when it slows down. Inevitably, when something happens, and we need you to fill time.
Yeah, I will baseball announce the hell out of any game.
Delightful.
Play by play.
Let's return to Drew's character.
Hi. Okay, so I will be playing Dame Elsbeth. How do you say her last name?
Kirschholm.
Kirschholm, or Lady Iron, as she's colloquially known amongst her friends and people she's killed. And she is a sentinel. She's that knight in shining armor who goes around and does good things and is all about justice and goodness and kicking trash when people don't follow the law. So I'm going to play that up this game. And she's also like Ronnie. She's older. She's like 46, 47, something like that.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. I like like playing the older ladies. That'll be good.
She's right at the edge of her prime.
Nice. That's it. I'm excited.
All right.
I am playing Sister Garned, and she is a classicist, and she's one of the elder folk. That's her racial category, right?
Correct. She comes from the mountain valley in the southern portion of the Blackwood.
Over here.
Yeah.
Over there. Cool. And as a classicist, it's kind of like a bard, right? She has a great knowledge of lore and of stories, and she uses that to get her in and out of sticky situations. Her hindrance is she'll do anything for a story. So I'm definitely going to be playing that.
Really stretching your limits as a role player.
The only reason... and she has a lap fiddle is her instrument, which is really cool. So I've played her once before when we play tested it with Eli like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And I really liked playing her, so I'm really excited to get to play her again.
Delightful.
And I am going to be playing Verana, the Red Bear. Verana has a little bit of a superhero thing going on because when she was a child, her parents died, and she was instead raised by red bears. And I know what you're thinking. Red bear sounds a lot like being raised by a red panda, James. And it's close, but red bears are mythical creatures in this setting that are red pandas with the hands of raccoons. And I imagine that not only do they have the hands of raccoons, they have the hearts of raccoons as well.
Absolutely.
So she lives as a vigilante thief who wears a red silk mask. She still lives in the city with her Red Bear family. She has the hindrances of overconfident, major, greedy, and an unruly pet that she travels around with, which is one of her red bears, which the stream must name. So as soon as the delay catches up, people shout out some names, and we'll get rolling on what my unruly pet is. But yeah, she is your basic Catwoman-style cat burglar, but instead it's red pandas with wicked raccoon hearts.
Yes.
I feel like we should do
Devious
this.
fingers.
We should do this every time the bear does something.
All right, so the plot point campaign for the Blackwood takes place in the year 1454 of the Year of the Elder King. This story takes place 2 years before, in the spring of 1452. We find ourselves in the city of Wasserlin, which is right by Allie's cheat sheet there.
Do we want to show the map?
Yeah, let's cut to the
let's
overhead
show
cam.
Oh, guys,
What?
I'm on it.
All right.
We can actually hit the close-up cam too.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, fine.
Where are we? Point her out. Point her out. Point her out.
So as we can see, Wasserlin is right here. It is called Grey Folly on this map because it is an old draft of the map. But
But that's where we are.
yeah, this is frontier country in the Blackwood. It is not anywhere near civilization, and because it's frontier country, that means it's bad country. Because for almost 1,500 years, the Elder King ruled over his kingdom with wisdom and benevolence. However, 14 years ago, he disappeared mysteriously, and since then, the forest has started to rise up against the Elder Kingdom. The wilderness pushes in on the hedges that protect every city and town. And elves from out of the deep wilderness are rising up to try and work their weird alien magic on the people of the Elder Kingdom.
These aren't like Tolkien elves.
No. This is more Rumpelstiltskin than Legolas. You're not going to hear them recite poetry and like dance on top of snow.
They'll like steal your teeth.
Yes, you're going to watch them
And
turn your
laugh at
friend
you.
inside out and then dump you into a pot and eat you for dinner.
Oh, cool.
It's bad stuff.
But really good fiction.
Yeah. Why, thank you. And this particular adventure will not feature elves. Instead, it's going to highlight the other aspect of the Blackwood, which is high-flying martial arts action. Yes, indeed. So like I said, you're in the town of Vosserlin. It's in Stone Crown Province, and it is early spring. A hard winter has come and gone for the frontier town of Vosserlin. The common folk scraped by on stale pottage and frozen hearth bread, while the town's nobility enjoyed salted pork and hearty stews at every needless banquet. Now spring has sprung, and with it come the taxes of the first harvest. The townsfolk are hopeful for a light tax and good business, but the nobility has other, much crueler plans in mind. Now, it's just before noon, and you all are arriving upon a ship which you have been hired to protect on the way to Vosserlin. The ship is called the Dower Hansen, and you have been guarding its shipment of woodland herbs and crafting tools, which has come from Three Rivers, the next city down the river there. So you all arrive, and
I was hired for this job?
it's true.
Were we
The
hired
fools.
together?
Yeah.
We were hired
It
together.
was
I
like
am deep cover, idiots. I'm stealing
it was like a
everything.
package deal thing. Like they were like, you want to hire? And they hired all of us. And
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you all are what's called errants. You are a class of people in the Elder Kingdom who, the Elder King has what's called the Way, which is his system of laws and virtues. And he knew whenever he created these laws that there would still be people that they couldn't protect, people at the edges of his kingdom. And so errants walk the Way's margin, and it's their
Tell
job.
him right now, his decision is errant, as I'm going to steal everything in this shipment.
And that's the thing. Errants are not bound to virtue. They're simply allowed to pursue the Way's margin however they see fit. And so some people are altruistic and some people are not. And they're free to do that so long as they don't interfere too much with the lives of the settled people. Get excited about that.
So just a little off the top, okay?
Yeah.
take that 5%.
Right.
All right, so the captain is a woman about Lady Iron's age, actually, and she's, if you believe it, even harder of a woman than Lady Iron. She brooks no funny business on her ship, the Dower Hansen. It's named actually after her husband, who is yet an even harder human being than she is.
So was she Lady Steel?
She was, yeah, Lady Steel. So Lady Steel
I feel
comes
like we
up
tried
to
to
you
one
all.
up each other this entire trip with like how hard we can be.
I would imagine so. Yeah, it got to the point where actually she was even pitching in on the crew members' duties. She was like hauling rope, and she was trying to batten the mizzen or whatever.
I've been watching the whole time.
That's great, because I didn't have to do as much then.
Exactly. Yeah, your job was pretty much to watch for pagans on the shore side.
So good.
I feel like we need to move all of the goods to the other side of the ship, and I feel like I did it all on my own. Just
Yeah.
to, like, prove that.
And she let you do it.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Because
what she did.
yeah, she's that kind of broad. So she walks up to you all and she says, "Well, thank you much. It's been a pleasure. Didn't have any attacks or anything, so you get your full payment, 20 silver each. Here you go. And if you wouldn't mind, we've got a lot of unloading to do, so please disembark and find."
I would like at this point for my troublesome companion to drop 3 silver pieces from its mouth. It just like had them like stored in its cheeks, and they just like fall out as I'm like collecting the 20 silver for the payment.
Very nice.
And Pat, I need to know, Pat,
Yes.
Who was your what was your favorite bear
Oh
name?
my gosh, I don't
There
know.
were like 10,000.
There were a lot of them.
There were a
a
few,
bunch
yeah.
of-
Let me get back to you in 2 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, so as this is happening, the coins fall out. She does a double take. She says, "Woods woes, these damnable red bears. What do you think you're trying to pull on me here?"
Please, madam. What was not me? I have a very troublesome animal. I would never want him to take anything. It's just he's attracted to shiny things. You know animals. I apologize profusely. I am lying my ass off to get out of trouble here.
Why don't you give me a persuasion check?
Excellent.
And I'll give you a +2 bonus to it.
And what is persuasion? I'm hoping it's my smarts.
It would be one of your skills, and if you don't have it, then it would be just a D4 -2. But
I do have persuasion, D6. Okay.
wonderful. And remember, you'll roll your wild die as well, and take whichever is the higher of the two of them.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the wild die, and that is a 5.
All right.
+2 comes to 7.
Wonderful. I got a 2, so you got a success with a raise. And so she looks at the red bear, and she looks back
Named
at you.
Cameron.
Cameron Red Bear. It's like it's there with its like little
little
greedy
hands.
hands, just like
And she says, I always did have a soft spot for animals. My one soft spot. Let no one doubt it.
Cameron, apologize to this woman.
I knew it.
Really, I can't believe you. Don't get caught.
She reaches over to ruffle its head, and then she thinks better of it because she's heard red bears are wily animals. So instead, she fishes into her pocket and pulls out an apple and gives it to the red bear.
It latches its hands out, and, like greedily starts chewing on the apple, and like it's sort of, like its cheeks are just filling up with apple, and like halfway through this apple, like it looks up at her, it sort of nods in appreciativement, and then just goes back to this apple.
Delightful. Okay, and because you invoked your hindrance, you can have a Benny. That one went to the floor.
Catch it.
It's dead to
another
us
one.
now. There we go.
All right, so the first mate, who is a shriveled old sop, he chivies you down the gangway and into the market harbor, or the harbor market of Wasserlin. It's fairly large. Let's say it's about 50 feet by 50 feet. And it's surrounded, Wasserlin, because it's a frontier town, has mostly wooden buildings. You're not going to see a lot of bricks here. But, you know, the market is set up, and it might be a little chilly this morning, but people are out in force nonetheless, trying to figure out what they can haggle for various goods. Now, if you'd like, any one of you are welcome to have been to Wasserlin before. If you do, then it will have to have been at least a few years ago, but you are welcome to tell a story about your last time here.
I was going to say I probably have, but I'll leave that to the storyteller then.
Ah, okay.
Have you
Oh.
been here?
Oh, to Wasserland? No, I have not.
Oh,
I've been to Three Rivers before.
Oh,
Okay.
Well, I guess I can tell you a little bit
Yeah,
about
go
it.
for it.
Yeah,
I'm interested.
so we're going to handle this like an interlude.
Right.
And you have a spade, which is a story about victory.
So I've been here before, and as you know, one of the things that I tend to do is a lot of hunting. And I came in search of a great stag. And I sought this thing for weeks, and it had gotten to the point where the people of Wasserlin did not believe that it existed. Yes, it had eluded everybody. Everybody who had ever seen it, it was just off in the distance, a glimpse, but they said, there are so many points on that stag, we cannot believe how old it is. And I finally tracked it down, and I successfully killed the beast.
Very nice.
And you will see it's 16 points hanging in that tavern over there.
That is so cool. Can we go to that tavern?
Of course.
We better go.
We
to
better
the
go.
tavern. It sounds like the place where you could get free drinks.
I need to make sure you're telling the truth. Of course we're going to go.
Well, yes, of course.
All right, perfect. So we're heading over to this tavern. Does anyone have a name
Nice
for the
segue.
tavern?
Ooh.
Does anyone have a name for
The Crown Stag, of course.
The million
gotta be
pointed stag.
Yeah, very nice.
The 6
Okay,
million pointed stag.
so this is a tavern that has an outdoor eating area. It's mostly just a kitchen on the inside, right?
So nice.
So you weave your way through the crowd, you go to the Crown Stag, and as soon as you show up, there is an old woman named Ma Bramble, who you know is the proprietor of this tavern.
And she says, "Oh, Al Guntram, as I live and breathe, how are you?"
Doing well, doing well. I've come through on another set of missions, another set of errantry duties.
Delightful, and I see you've brought some friends with you as well.
Yes, my companions, if I may, Lady Iron.
Oh, a sentinel. We haven't had a sentinel in Vosserlin for quite some time.
Well, you have one now.
Yes, and we're grateful for it.
Good.
Quite a dour fella, don't you think?
I don't notice.
I'm a woman.
Well, it's
Hard
the
to
armor,
tell.
you see. I couldn't tell, but of course you are, dear. And you, miss, so enchanting to meet a classicist.
Nice to meet you
Yes.
too. I'm Sister Garnet.
Wonderful, wonderful.
You should definitely have her tell some stories this evening.
Oh, I
We
could.
would be delighted, and
Okay.
I
should.
see your lap
She told
fiddle
your
as
story.
well.
I'm going to, yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you?
Oh, I'm the Red Bear. I've been through before, but you didn't notice.
Oh, of course, yes, of course. My eyesight's failing, of course, you know.
If your eyesight was very good, you wouldn't have noticed. It's fine.
Oh, that errant bravado. Very nice. Well, welcome one and all. You know what? First round's on me. Has Owl told you the story of how this tavern got its name?
Yes.
Tell it again.
Oh, well, you see.
And then about an hour later, she's done regaling this story in exquisite detail. She's ushered you over to a table and given you anything you want, ale or tea or wine or whatever suits your fancy. Does anybody have any particular requests?
Hard bread.
Hard.
And water.
Butter?
No. Butter's extra.
She says, "Oh, yes, we have just a little hearth bread left over from the winter. Let me just go find it."
She brings it out and sets it out. Hearth bread is basically a pretzel, and it's a particularly hard pretzel for you as well, now that winter is almost over, or recently over.
It's good.
Yes, so as you're sitting here conversing amongst yourselves, you notice there are a lot of people walking past. Most of them are commoners, and they all look, frankly, cold and hungry. They're walking around, they're kind of hunched over in the wind, and they're clutching their stomachs, or they're grumbling to each other and kind of shifty-eyed looking around the area. You also notice some people that catch your attention. At one of the other tables, there are a group of 3 errants. You recognize them to be errants because they all have badges to signify their errantry. In this case, you all do, yeah. It's written on your character sheet. And a badge for an errant can be just about anything. It can be an actual badge, it can be a tabard, as is the case with Lady Iron.
I also had it carved into my forearm.
Delightful.
I now understand after rereading my character sheet, I was not supposed to introduce myself as the Red Bear, but Verana. So we're just going to take that back a half step.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah. When the mask is up, you're the Red Bear.
Yeah, I get it now.
What's your name when you don't have the mask?
I thought it was like always the Red Bear.
Oh,
and
yeah?
I was like keeping like a super secret identity, but like Verana is what is
It's
it?
the face.
The errant. Verana's the errant, and the Red Bear shows up occasionally.
Yeah. Conspicuously in the same place every time.
Do I know? Have I figured it out?
You know what? Here's the thing. It's a mask up over my face, so there's absolutely no way you can know.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
feel
glasses.
yeah, but
It's
I
like,
feel like
who am I now?
whoa. I mean, I feel like if anybody in the group would have figured
You're
it
the only
out.
person who cares to know.
I'm the
That's
one
the
who
thing.
cares.
You want to figure it out the most, and you're so far away from it.
Yeah.
So, like I was saying, there are a couple of figures that stand out to you. At one table, there are 3 errants who are wearing badges of Leafstone, which you all recognize to be a remarkably valuable, precious stone. It's basically jade in our real world. And it's used as currency, but also as jewelry and that sort of thing in the Blackwood. They're all wearing ostentatiously simple white robes. They're not quite nobility, but you can tell they're not commoners either. And they have the trappings of medicine about them. They have pouches of herbs, they have scrolls that they're carrying with them. And they're sitting back lounging, and you can tell, you overhear a little of their discussion. They're talking about the plight of the nobility as the harvest season begins and they have to administer their nobility upon the common folk. The other folks that stand out to you are a pair of women who are dancing in the street. And their clothes are a little careworn, but the notable thing about them, they both have these bright red silken shawls that they have originally wrapped around their shoulders. But eventually, as they're dancing, they're doing all sorts of fancy dancing moves and using the shawl as a prop in their dance. You also notice that they are carrying antler knives. Antler knives are, if you've seen Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, the guy who's got those curved daggers that he throws like a frisbee.
Oh yeah, cool.
That's exactly an antler knife.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and so it's like two crescent moons that overlap each other, and that would mark them as errants as well, if the shawl does not. You suspect the shawl is probably their badge. So what kind of conversation are we having here
And
at
this
the
is
table?
the dancing girls who are here.
These are the dancing girls, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, there appears to be quite an interesting collection of people about tonight.
Yes, there is.
What's going on here that makes this town so important that it's...
There's 3 there. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 errands in town.
in 3 different groups?
Wow, you're a local celebrity around here. You're telling me you don't know why this town is so important?
I haven't been here in like 2 years.
And you definitely, it's clear that these errants, these 2 groups of errants are part of a team because they're both wearing, they all have the same badge, right? But you don't recognize the badge of either errant band.
Lady Aaron goes up to the table with the guys in white, and she goes.
That's a bad
She steps forward
No, it's not a good
and goes,
idea.
Gonna do it though.
Sweetie, no.
"Who are you?"
Oh, yes, well, delightful to meet you. I am, Doc Coln is my name.
Yes, watch her charm.
Such a bracing handshake you have.
She does the pull in.
Oh.
I said, "Who are you?"
Doc Coln, I'm one of the Leafstone coins here with my companions. If I may, we'll have to have you look at that later. What brings you to town, Sentinel?
You're guarding a shipment.
Well,
Reading from the script.
we're guarding a shipment.
Ah, yes, well, if you're here, then it must have already arrived. Perhaps you're looking for work?
We would say that, yes.
Ah, wonderful. Well, perhaps we should speak at a later time. We're deep in conversation right now. But if you were to seek us out, tell you what, there's a wonderful place. We love to drink tea there in the evenings. Perhaps
it
you
called?
join us there. I will tell you that it's right on the tip of my tongue. What is the name of that place? Yes. The Sage Pine Tea House.
Thank you. She turns
very
around and
much.
walks away.
While she was having that very short conversation, Verona has called to one of the peasants who's like sort of hungrily like moving around outside, gone, "You there, what's your name?"
Me? It's a burly porter type that has been stopped. Seventh.
Seventh. You live here, yes?
Well, yeah.
You must watch the streets quite a bit?
Well, I walked the streets quite a bit.
Well, there's quite a bit of salted pork in it for you if you tell me why there happen to be so many errands around. Please, pull up a table and barkeep, a drink for my friend here.
Oh, well, I probably shouldn't. I was on my way to pick up a parcel.
Sit.
Okay, now we don't need to force anyone to do anything that
I'm
they
being
don't.
polite.
Please sit. I think I'll just have.
Believe me, Lady Iron. Believe me when I tell you that your version of polite and society's version of polite don't quite match up.
You're right. Mine's better. I said sit.
We've been over this.
Very, very well. Yes, of course, Madam Sentinel. I would never.
Are you hungry?
Well,
I said, are you hungry?
yes, I am.
What would you like?
Well, just a bit of that bread is all I could ask for.
It's my bread. I'll get you
Oh, be
soup.
more imaginative than that.
Well, you did mention that salted
Yes,
pork.
salted pork.
Salted pork!
So aggressive.
But you
I'll go
asked
get
a question.
Yes, I've noticed so many errands around. It's Not to insult your lovely little town, but it hardly seems worth all the trouble.
So Seventh's eyes immediately shift to both the Leafstone coins and these women dancing on the street. And he says, well, of course, we appreciate all the errands who come to help out here in Wasserland.
Believe me, I appreciate none of the errands that come here, and I happen to be one of them. Feel free to speak freely, so long as the wind does not catch your voice and carry it to other errant ears. I wish to know, why are there so many errands in your village?
Well, so give me a persuasion check again. And this guy's not very good at this, so I got a 2.
6. No, it does
Wonderful. Oh, wait.
explodes, right?
Yes, it does.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
12!
jeez.
That sounds like a 17!
Dope.
Delightful. Okay, so you beat me by 15. That's a lot of raises. Seventh kind of hunkers down, and you see, times have been tough this past winter. You know, we got pretty low on our stores, and these folks over here, these Leafstone coins, they're helping us out quite a bit. They're talking to the nobles, from what I understand, and they're trying to, make things better for all of us. And
Really?
yeah, and
Really?
well, that's what I hear.
That's what you hear.
Anyway, yeah, I mean,
Really?
well,
Lady Iron has quietly stepped up behind Seven. And she slowly puts a plate in front of him,
he's scared to take it.
to which she takes his hand and puts it on it.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Sentinel. This is very.
She doesn't bite, believe me, I've tried.
Oh, okay. Good to know. But you see, the thing about the Leafstone coins is, and he leans in even closer, they want to help, but they're not in tight with the nobles just yet, and so I don't know if they can help or not. I don't know how much they can, but I know they got a lot of money. They're all doctors.
I am slipping out of the conversation at this point, and I'm going to sneak over to a place where I can listen carefully to the Leafstones.
Okay. So as you move over there, you notice that the dancers with the red silk, they have kind of moseyed into the eating area of the tavern, and they're soliciting commoners for silver coins or what have you. And you even see them giving out coins to some people that look especially hard up.
Do they have a musician with them?
They do not.
Because I'm definitely like lap fiddle, bow, and I'm like half listening to what's happening over here, but I'm definitely like watching them move the room. And like playing just a little louder as they get closer, like something that fits whatever they're doing.
Of course, yeah. It's kind of a swaying type of dance. So something like probably something that you use to keep time on the ship on the way up would be appropriate.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So some sort of shanty, some river shanty.
Yeah.
And you said you were observing the Leafstone coins, right?
Yes.
That's very
You
nice.
notice
Thank you.
they are fully aware of these women in red walking over, and they are sort of bristling. And they come over, and the women in red, they're dancing over, and they're like, "Oh, hey, fat cats, you got any coin for us today?"
I have one.
Yeah, they hold out their hand. We'll take anything from anybody.
She put, and then very gently holds their hand and says, "Thank you."
No, thank you, darling. And then they put it in a pouch, and they continue their dancing as they kind of sway over to the table. And they keep getting closer to the Leafstone coins until finally the coins just they toss a bit of tea at these women, and they say, "Begone, terrorists! We'll have none of your kind."
Oh, Lady Iron stands up and marches across the room to them and goes, "That was not polite."
Shouldn't have said that.
At this
Shouldn't have done that.
exact moment,
Tonight is getting so good.
you can all make a notice check for me. And you're trying to get a 4 or better according to Savage Worlds rules.
Is this hearing or seeing?
It's hearing.
Cool.
Where is that?
That's going to be an 8 then.
An 8. Delightful. Would be one of your skills.
That's a 0, and I am very comfortable with
I
that.
hella
Oh, you don't know.
Probably
I like
managing.
this master thief has no notice.
I know, yeah.
What's it based off of?
It would be based, if you don't have the skill, then it would just be D4 minus 2.
It is right. Oh,
Oh,
I
she
don't
doesn't.
have it.
You, okay, you've got a
I'm not paying
D6,
attention.
yeah.
So a 1?
A 1, okay.
do roll your wild die though.
What?
Always roll your wild die.
Always.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah,
Roll
that's right.
that.
Yeah, so
Should I
go
roll
ahead
it
and.
separately now?
roll it,
Yeah.
roll it, yeah.
Yeah, that is still.
Yes.
Oh, even worse. Okay,
Not
never
good.
mind.
Not good.
And then, did you make a check as well?
Yeah, 3.
Okay, so you're the only one who passed. And as Lady Iron storms over to the Leafstone coins, you hear the fluttering of silk up above you, and you look up just in time to see another woman in red who is leaping down from the rooftop of the crowned stag. And she lands right behind the Leafstone coins, threads her silken shawl through their arms, and the woman who had the tea splashed on her leaps after this this other errant, the Leafstone coin, and punches him right in the stomach.
Whoa! Oh my gosh. To which
So cool.
Lady Iron punches her and goes, "That wasn't polite either."
Go ahead and make an attack roll for me.
What is happening?
If this is unarmed, then it would be fighting, but the damage is what would be different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fighting, so it's a 1d10.
With your wild die.
That's a d8.
And you are trying to beat a parry of 7.
So 5.
You can spend a Benny to re-roll if you'd like.
I will spend a penny to reroll.
Okay,
And it's both of them, correct?
correct.
Okay. Nope.
No better.
No better.
Considerably worse, in fact.
Indeed.
Okay, so you punch at this woman, and with almost preternatural agility, she dodges backwards and then does a backflip and lands on her feet again. At this point, we are entering combat, so
Oh man.
let's deal out some initiative cards.
Hell yeah.
And if you could hand that to James.
Not what I wanted.
And then we've got, let's see, I've got a 5. Anybody have anything higher than an ace? I doubt it.
No.
All right.
Ace of spades. No.
So here's something I like to do when combat happens. Because we're doing theater of the mind, I encourage people to make use of the imaginary terrain. We don't have anything that's set in stone here. We know there are tables, we know it's outdoors, we know there's a rooftop. Anything else you're welcome to embellish for the sake of your actions. So, Alguntram. You see 3 Leafstone coins rise to fight 4 of these women with the red silk shawls. And you see Lady Iron has already waded into battle, but she was unable to strike. What do you do?
So the shawls have the leaf stones by the arms, right?
Correct,
They
yeah.
didn't wrap the silk around their neck or anything like that.
No. Yeah. It was like, let me hold him so you can sucker punch him.
Right. Gotcha. So at this point, I am actually going to start setting a tripwire
Okay.
because I want anybody who runs away to not be able to run away.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing.
Delightful. Okay.
Such a you thing to do.
So what? This is the Trapper Edge. Which power would you like to activate?
So I'm aiming for the entangle.
Okay. And then, so you go ahead and set up your trap, and I believe you need to make a
Survival check.
survival check. Yes. So go ahead and give me that roll.
I will. So where's my D8? There you are. So that's going to be a 7.
A 7. Okay. So that is a success.
Yeah, but not
And-
with a raise.
Correct. Yeah. So you can activate this trap
I am going
as
to try
early
for a
as the
better.
next round.
I'm going to try for a better trap. And there's my one shot. So I
All right.
13. on
Delightful.
that.
Okay, yeah. Then you've set up a handy trap and you've done it in record time.
Yeah.
You might even pat yourself on the back for
Those
those.
one-shot dice available through Patreon.
Okay, so that is your action. You've set this up, and for Lady, who's next? Actually, next highest.
I think it's
it's
Sister
me.
Garnet?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
One of my powers is dispel. What does that do? Is that something where I could jump in here and like try to get everybody apart from everybody else?
The way that works is if somebody else casts a power, you can interrupt that power, or if
Okay.
there's an ongoing power, you can cancel it out.
Okay.
And let me see here. I don't think any of these characters have any powers, so
Okay. So
Get excited.
We don't need that yet. Let's see. I feel like Lady Iron has made a choice. We all make choices.
It's true.
I feel it was a bad choice because now she's engaged both of them.
It was the just choice.
That's not the point. So I'd like to do something to try to get everybody to stop what's happening
Okay.
and sit down.
You could do a test of wills against the aggressors in this situation seem to have been the women in red.
Yeah.
So you could do a test of wills against them if you want, which would be either taunt or intimidate. Or, you know what? I would let you use persuasion in this instance, too.
Yeah, I mean, I have taunt and I also have persuasion. Persuasion is a D6 and taunt is a D8. So I feel like a persuasion, right?
Yeah, I think
you
so.
think?
Yeah.
Don't you think? Okay, so
It's 2d6.
2d6s because one of them's the wild eye.
Correct.
Keep remembering.
Correct. And
And
let's
that's
see
a
here.
5.
A 5. So I need to make a smarts check to resist this. And let's see how this works out. I got a 3, so it was not enough. So what's going to happen, you get a +2 bonus to your next action.
Cool.
But because you wanted to trap this as persuasion, I'll say that you can get through to this person and they stop and respond to whatever it is you choose to say to them.
Okay, so the lady who... So the lady punched the guy in the stomach and you punched the lady in the face?
Well, I went over to the guys and I stopped them, and
Yes.
then she punched him, and then I tried to get
And
her,
she
and
dodged.
she dodged out of the way.
Okay, so I, still playing my instrument, get up and I'm reciting some, like, classic, like, fairy tale quote about, like, we all know what happens when we jump to conclusions, and if we don't slow down for a minute, somebody's going to make a mistake.
Okay.
And when we make mistakes, we learn lessons the hard way, so let's all just take a second and step down.
Delightful. Okay.
Yeah.
So this woman, the woman in red, she stops and she looks at you and she's like, "That's a local tale. How did you know that?"
Oh, I know a lot of tales.
Oh. And next, I believe it is going to be Lady Iron next. Is that right?
Yes.
So
That goes for you, too.
I know Sister Garnet has done a great job here,
Okay.
and I go, Sister Garnet speaks truth. And I step
usually
back.
do.
All right. I will say, it doesn't look like they're about, like, that one stopped, but the rest of them look like they're going to continue fighting.
Okay, then I will try to stop another one. then.
Okay, sounds good.
Maybe with holding and not punching.
You can make a grappling
How
check.
do I make a grapple?
So if you make a grappling check, it's an opposed strength check.
Okay.
And are you going to be grappling one of the women or one of the Leafstone coins?
One of the women.
Okay, sounds good. So that is a strength of D6 for me, and this is an opposed roll, so let's see who got higher. Ooh, mine exploded, or aced actually.
Not.
I got an 8 total.
I'm gonna spend a Benny. See if I
Okay.
can do better.
Yeah, come on, dude.
Ooh,
Yes.
There we
is-
go. That's better.
Yeah, and you can re-roll that because it
Oh,
aced.
because it yeah.
Oh my god!
Killed
So-
it.
Okay, so 20 you got, and I got an 8. So yeah, you definitely managed to completely immobilize this woman. Lift her off the ground or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's literally what, like they're preparing and stuff like that, and I literally grab her, like by the wrist, and I hold her up,
Nice.
and she's like dangling off the ground, and like she's just far enough away that she can't reach anything,
Right.
so I'm just holding her.
Probably got a good foot on her.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Very
I
nice.
go, calm.
And so she's kicking
down.
and struggling, and she's like almost choked, but you managed to grab her in such a way as to not actually damage her. Yeah, so what that means is that next round you could inflict damage, or you could try to continue the grapple, or whatever you want to do.
Cool.
What is your initiative card, James?
That is 3.
3. I have a 5, so the opponents are going to go next. Now, the Leafstone coins, like I said, they leapt up immediately, right? And you look over and you see one of the red women runs over, and she does this like split dive underneath the guy's legs and like disappears in his robe for a second before she pops up behind him. And she comes around with this antler knife that she's produced out of nowhere to slash at the guy. But all of a sudden he brings up his ledger, which is made out of, it's bound in iron, and he blocks it, right?
Cool. That's really cool.
The second Leafstone coin, who is going to be taking an action at this point, is going to pull out a scroll from a pouch in a pouch at his side, and he's going to throw it at the red woman who is being held aloft by Lady Iron.
They take their books seriously.
It's really cool.
I'm going to spend a Benny to re-roll.
Wait, that's my diary. No. Wait.
So I got a 5, and all I needed was a 4 to hit. So the guy produces this scroll, and he launches it like a shuriken at this woman in red, and hits her right upside the head.
Is
and
it sharp or
deals.
does it just like dunk her?
It was a blunt force thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
the one I'm holding?
Yeah, it is. So, kind of your fault if we want to be honest about
No,
it.
it's true. It's true.
So I got a 5, and that does not beat their toughness of 6. So this thing actually just whizzes right by her head, and she's like, "Let me down! They're gonna attack us!" And that's going to be the opponent's turn. So next we have Red Bear.
Okay, so Verona, noticing that things are about to go haywire, working alongside Lady Iron for this long, I've picked up sort of the pattern of the way situations like this escalate.
You recognize the
She
rhythm.
gets an idea in her head. So while she was headed over to that table, just after I said things are about to get good, Sister Garnet is like focused on the scene unfolding in front of her, and Verona was sort of leaning back in her chair, and she just pushes herself all the way back, falling to the ground, and agilely like rolls herself behind one of the tables just behind them.
Nice.
And pops up with her reversible cloak and reversible silk mask, and she is now
Who is she?
the Red Bear.
Where did she come from?
So while this whole combat scene is unfolding, the Red Bear is most interested in where the coin pouches of those leaf stones happen to be.
Very nice. They are dangling from their belts, as a matter of fact.
Well then, with my grappling hook, I want to just shoot it out and try and grab one off a belt while they're too busy trying to defend themselves.
That's awesome. So, as you noticed, people are fighting with silken shawls and books and scrolls right now. That's one of the setting rules that I've come up with for the Blackwood. And basically, it means that if it's related to your profession, then you don't suffer the penalties for using improvised weapons.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah, and so, cooks can fight with pots and pans and that sort of thing. Because you are a professional thief, your grappling hook can count as a weapon. So go ahead and give me a throwing check, and we'll call this an attack. It would be a called shot, so it would be at a -2 in this case. But if you manage to hit, then you can lasso back one of these coins.
So if
or coin pouches.
where would throw be? Is that a skill that I'm supposed to have?
It is.
Yes, it's one of your skills.
Dang.
And you should have throwing.
I don't have throw.
Oh, shoot. Okay, well
Super
then,
weird.
in that case, it would be a d4 -2 with the -2 for the called shot. But luckily, the d4 is the one that's most likely to explode.
Okay. So no explosions there, but I got a pile of bennies.
Yeah.
So many bennies.
Might
I'm
as
gonna
well
spend
spend
that.
them.
Kill it.
I really feel like I should have invested more in throwing, huh, guys?
Hey,
there we
that
go.
is all right.
All right. So that is 6 -2. That becomes 4.
Yeah, but also a -2 because
It's a called shot.
of the called
too.
shot. Yeah. So this grappling hook flies out and it actually embeds itself on the table. And
Well, when things go awry, you improvise, and she just yanks on the table,
Nice.
pulling the table up, causing even more chaos.
that's awesome. I think you should actually save that for your next action.
Okay.
And it can be like an agility trick or something to try and
Which I am much
off
better
balance.
at.
Yeah. Okay, so hand me your card, and then we'll do the second round of combat.
Yeah, don't give me a bad card this time. Jeez.
Oh man.
No,
I gave it to Al Guntram instead. And then for me, so I got a 3. Who got the highest here?
Drew.
Me.
All right, Lady Iron. So you are grappling this woman, and she has asked you to let go because they are attacking her.
I want to walk over to one of the guys and do the same to him.
Okay,
hands.
awesome. So let's call this.
Make up.
Now, she didn't make any attempt to escape the grapple, so I'm not going to make you roll to maintain it.
Okay.
So you can move over and try to grab this other guy. Oh, I aced though, so I got an 11 total.
Give that back.
All right.
Nope.
Ah, no dice. Okay.
No dice.
Well, yeah. So you walk over, and your hands are full. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
you're holding a woman at arm's length. It's just not that easy. So yeah, the Leafstone coin. He sees you coming to grab him. He's like, "I'm not the enemy here," and he swats your hand away.
How dare you strike a woman?
Irony.
She uses that all the time.
You can have a penny back for that, actually. So hand me your card, and then I believe it's Sister Garnet next.
Yeah.
So this one red bear has stopped and
Red
is.
bear?
Sorry, the woman in red.
The woman
Yes.
in red. Yes.
She has stopped and she is looking at you.
Lady in red.
Yeah, that's what I'm playing now.
Okay, perfect.
Chinese
That's a
version.
song?
It's an acoustic version.
Yeah.
The Chinese acoustic version.
I really just think we need to stop and talk about this. We just got here. We're not even sure what the fight's about.
Okay, so if you make another persuasion check on my action, this woman in red will try and help you calm everything down.
Okay. D6.
And it'll be opposed to my smarts, which is a 2. Congrats.
Yeah, so 3.
But, you know, you win. So, yeah.
Yeah, I win.
This woman, like, you have a moment. You connect.
Yeah.
And she realizes that this is
Stupid.
folly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
she kind of shakes her head and she's ready to do what's right.
Yeah.
But not until it's her turn.
Oh, that's fine.
Well,
There you
it's
go.
a shame things are about to explode.
Yeah, well. All right, so you wanted to do an agility trick.
Yes, so I'm doing an agility trick to pull the table up, causing like all of the drink and coin and random bits and bobs, whatever they had on it, to fly into the air. I imagine like if this is the movie we're seeing this, we see the table like fly up, spilling everything in every direction in slow motion, while the red bear like sort of used the momentum of pulling the table up to pull herself forward. She jumps onto one of the other tables, drawing her dagger. And sort of in a very similar like sliding movement that the one dancer used to go up under the other's legs, she is going to pass the belt of one of these leafstones
Awesome.
and just cut the coin purse directly off of it. So I believe this is
Awesome.
another called shot, but I
Well,
am...
here's what I'm thinking. You are using an agility trick to upend the table, right? And that could be a handy distraction for you. I think what you should do is that's your agility trick, and that includes the movement. And then you can make an attack with your dagger
Okay.
to try and remove the pouch.
Sounds
But
good to me.
because this is a dual action, it's a -2 to both actions.
Well, my agility tricks come as free actions. Does that change anything?
That's if you use the leaf step ability, which is like the light body skill of wuxia movies. So
Okay.
basically, if you take the run action,
Oh, this is even better.
I'm so excited.
I pull all this chaos for me, towards me. As the stuff is flying through the air, I jump forward off the table and I step off of the cups and poker chips and whatever else was on the table
Delightful.
to draw my dagger and like pull it across that coin purse.
you can have a Benny for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so make your agility trick, and it is at no penalty.
Excellent. Come on. Okay, well, I'm going to spend that Benny immediately.
Okay.
'Cause, hey,
Have it
I
back.
want this money. I'm so greedy.
Well, I got a 1, so you know.
Okay. Hey, well, then I'll keep my 4.
Okay.
And, yeah.
So the agility trick is successful, and this is a big enough thing that I'm going to make it such that every single combatant is at a -2 parry. Unfortunately, that includes Lady Iron too, because she is in the thick of things right now. And so now you'll make your attack,
All right.
and it is a fighting check. And yeah, if you succeed, then you'll manage to cut the coin purse off of this Leafstone coin.
My fighting is absolutely at D6. Okay. So D6, and is this plus my agility?
No, it's just a D6.
Okay.
With your wild die,
With
of
wild
course.
die,
Yeah.
okay.
And all you need to get is a 4 to hit this because you're not actually attacking the person.
Yeah, I got a 4.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, then you slide through and you cut that coin purse off, and it's nice and heavy, as a matter of fact.
I'm loving it. She's like, and the table is still flipping through the air, and she is sliding underneath the table as it is flipping through the air.
I love it. And you know what? I think it's actually heading in the direction of Sister Garnet.
Oh no!
Wait, you're coming towards me with all this?
Yeah, because you were in the same location when you pulled, or near enough anyway.
Oh, so it's our table, or it's their
It's
table.
their
It's their
And now
table.
it's
Let's say
coming
it's like
towards us.
they were 2 tables away,
Got
and so
it.
it's flipping over a table at this point,
Okay.
heading towards you.
This looks great.
And next we have the opponents here. So this has all happened in the chaos. They didn't even notice that your dastardly deed was successful. They're just going to turn to each other again. This Leafstone coin who swatted your hand away is actually going to prevail upon you to stop. And
How dare you?
he's
luck
going.
with that.
Yeah, he's going to make.
Implying I have done something wrong here?
He's going to make a test of wills against you.
Okay.
So this is going to be a taunt check from his end of the deal.
Okay. What do
Which
I
he's
roll?
not actually skilled in, and you will roll smarts to oppose it.
Sweet.
So here we go with my check. I got a 1, so good luck. You got 2 aces.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So yeah, he says to you, "You need to fight for us. Like, look, they're the ones starting this violence." And you look over and you see that another Leafstone coin is like bashing one of the women in the face with his book.
I look at him and I go, I am the mother of 8 children. And when I see children misbehaving, I will correct it.
Oh,
Yes, please.
He visibly shivers.
Now you know.
Now he knows. Oh, he knows now. So what that means is that he is at -2 parry, and he is in fact shaken. So he's going to need to try and recover from that on his next turn. And then, like I said, the red bears or the red women and the Leafstone coins, they keep duking it out in the behind the scenes. One of the Leafstone coins actually has 2 scrolls now, and he's parrying the antler knives shot for shot with one of these.
I will say, that is very cool.
It's pretty cool. I'm probably gonna have some bruises though.
It could happen. And last but not least, Al Guntram.
So they're still fighting.
Oh yeah, they're still
So
fighting.
how many of them are still fighting, would you say?
There's one being grappled by Dame or Lady Iron, and then there are 2 that are engaged in combat with each other, a Leafstone coin and a red woman, and then there is one Leafstone coin who's being ganged upon by 2 of these red women.
Okay, so at this point, I am, first of all, very upset that I think Red Bear is going to get this tavern renamed with her particular
If anyone
amazing
notices.
stunts. Well, we'll see.
They'll need a stuffed
So
red bear for that.
I need to remind everyone of exactly what this tavern is all about.
Yeah.
So I am grabbing the stag's head off the wall and charging through to basically just break everyone up.
Awesome.
That
Okay.
is. I'm just barreling through the fight.
So is this going to be like a push attempt, I guess?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So I'm assuming opposed fighting.
Will be opposed strength actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Same either way.
And here we go. That was an ace.
Yeah, it was.
Son of a
So
gun.
that's a 10.
A 10, and I got a 1, but I'm going to spend a penny and see if I can get anything higher than a 1. Nope.
No, you cannot.
That's that. Okay, so yeah, that happens, and you barrel through here, and like a couple of the red women dive for cover. One of the Leafstone coins is just like and gets trampled.
Yeah, I'm not trying to damage anyone.
Of course,
I'm just trying
yeah.
to split them up.
It's very humane charging with
Yeah.
with deer antlers. Yeah, of course.
No, it's humane. It's fine.
Okay,
That's
so that was
discipline.
that.
That's discipline. That's good.
At the top of the 3rd round, you all hear a familiar sound. The city guard has arrived.
Oh man.
That is the sound of their clarion horn.
Good.
And as soon as the horn is heard, both the Leafstone coins and the women in red scatter, except the one that you're holding.
We should probably go.
What?
No.
What do you mean?
They're going to try.
Well, they are, but you all get attacks against them because you're all in melee.
No, because
No.
I have a trap.
Oh, that's
made a
right. Perfect.
No one is
No.
going anywhere.
Down.
Perfect. Okay. So, let's go ahead and say that they all try to flee, and because you're in melee with them, you can make an attack. Red Bear, you can do the same if you'd like.
Oh,
and you know
Red
what?
Bear is leaving.
You can do the same.
Bear is out.
Red Bear is as gone as these people.
Solid
Caught in the
strategy.
trap herself.
Lady Iron's going to try to grapple another one as it
Okay.
tries to run by.
Sounds good. So this will be opposed strength, and I'm not going to roll that die anymore. I'm going to roll this one, and it's still a 1.
It's a 3, so...
Well, yeah, then you succeed. So you managed to. Is it a Leafstone coin or one of the red women you grabbed?
it's one of the Leafstone.
Okay, yeah. So you've got both of them by
of
the
each.
collar.
So I grab that one, and then this one's coming around that way, and I like reach around his head and pull him this way, and then put him up on my shoulder.
These look
And-
like big, strong hands, don't they?
And this girl, I like tie her up, kind of like I bend her arm in a different way,
Very nice.
and put her over my other shoulder, and so I have the two of them over my shoulders.
Delightful. Okay.
Good.
Call these the apron strings.
Interesting. In the chat, Lady Iron has 8 children. Name them.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Also,
I'll pick my favorite 8.
They want to know if Cameron has a little mask too.
Oh, yes, absolutely. It's not a natural mask. Cameron has a mask that Cameron wears to be the Red Bear's
Red
sidekick.
Little Bear?
Phil.
Phil is
Phil.
one name.
Durandal.
I think
Okay.
it's Red Hand.
Red Hand.
I got
Yeah.
Red
He's
Hand.
red-handed.
That's who he is. Wonderful. I love
So
it.
good.
Okay. So did you want to make an attack as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm waving the stag's head.
Of course, yeah. So because this was the stag that you killed, it will also qualify for the in the right hand setting rule.
Yeah, so that's 11.
11 definitely beats all of their parries. So why don't you go ahead and make, let's call this a sweep, actually.
Okay.
And just attack everybody.
Sure.
It still hits.
So is that with a raise?
Bless you.
It is not with a raise.
Oh, okay.
Not quite.
They have good parry.
Yeah.
So that is not a lot of. I don't know how much bonus I get with.
It would be strength plus d6. Well, you know what? Strength plus d8, because this is a largish weapon.
Okay, so that's a 9.
Cool.
on
All right.
damage.
Yeah. So you hit all of them, and they're all like knocked on their asses. They fall back, and they half of them kip up immediately, and then so the guards arrive. The ones who did not manage to get knocked down are going to run right into your trap. And so, describe how this entangles them. What are we talking about?
So it was a tripwire, and I basically strung several lines up between chairs and a booth.
Awesome.
And so
good.
they just run, and it's one of those, and they just
all
get
the
hung
chairs
up.
just like
Yes, and so suddenly they're just a mess of line and chair.
Perfect.
So yeah.
All right. So at this point, the guards arrive. They're wearing their characteristic yellow and blue livery, and they have they're armed with shields and batons, and a couple of them have spears. And they show up and they say, these reprobates again. It's not the first time we've seen this, boys. Get to work." And they immediately start rounding up all of these Leafstone coins and these women who are tangled up.
I'm glad you've come, officer.
Sentinel. Been a long time since we had one of your kind around here.
Well, apparently this place was in need of discipline.
I think so, yeah. We appreciate your work. We'll take those into our custody. Thank you
One.
very much.
2.
Oh, he's floored by the weight of these people. And he gets up and he looks at you and he's like, "Good work. All right, so take them away, boys." And they all start to leave. And you all notice the common folk, they looked hungry and cold before. Now they look hungry, cold, and simmering with anger at the presence of these guards. So would anybody like to take any immediate actions?
Barkeep, please bring my friends a round of drinks and salted pork for everyone.
Oh, yes. Well, I would be delighted to. I don't think we have enough salted pork to go around for everyone, though.
Well, then whatever scraps of food you have, I will make it worth your while. And she flips a leafstone through the air.
Oh. Well, we can find salted pork for this, of course. I'll be right back.
It's worth mentioning Leafstone coins are 50 silver pieces, and the average commoner makes a silver piece a day. So you just gave her a bunch of money.
Yes!
All right, so she bustles back into the tavern, and she starts organizing all of her servers to start doling out the ale and salted pork.
Here's a diamond. Have fun.
Don't spend it all in one place. Yeah, so then the crowd kind of dies down after all of these errants are carted away by the guard. And it's clear that something is up here. These two errant bands do not like each other, and the commoners don't like the guards. It's not clear. In the hustle and bustle, it wasn't really clear how the commoners felt about these two groups of errants, though, with the exception of your conversation with our dear Porter Seventh, who has since disappeared.
He's gone.
So the guards took all of the other errands.
They did, yeah.
Are the guards now gone as well?
They are gone. I mean, there's time for you to stop them if you want, but otherwise they would leave.
Talking to the commoners that we have here, Verona, who's definitely transformed back in like an elaborate scene. Nobody noticed as she like popped back up. She
Sailor Moon.
speaks with one of the commoners that she's purchased dinner for. Now, this might be me being crazy, but if I were one of you and a guard broke up a fight in a tavern in my town, I would be a fan of the guard. But you seem to have an interesting perspective that I would like to know more about.
Yeah, well, this past winter, this is a large blacksmith-looking man who was really just passing by. He wasn't a patron at the tavern. He stops and this past winter, those guards, they cared a lot more about collecting taxes than they did about keeping the peace. Had all kinds of scuffles all winter long, and in fact, my cousin, he got beat up pretty bad by this errant that came through town. Nobles outlawed him, of course, but that's about it. Sure wasn't the guards that did anything. We had to bring him in ourselves.
My goodness, you had to pay yourselves?
No, we had to bring the errant in ourselves to the nobles, demand that they do something about it. They were in the middle of some banquet of theirs. Who knows what they do?
Well,
This doesn't seem right.
doesn't sit right at all. And why are these two groups at each other's throats? This makes no sense.
The coins and the daughters?
Yes.
Oh, they, I don't know that I can tell you that. I mean, rumors are going on all around town, but I steer clear of the rumor mill myself. So at this point, there's definitely more information you can find out. But it's going to take a few hours to do. So anybody who's interested in finding out information can make streetwise checks to try and uncover more secrets about what's going on.
So I don't have streetwise, so it's based off what, smarts?
It would be just a D4 minus 2 if you don't
D4
have
minus 2.
the skill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no attribute defaulting. It's
Also,
always
per
unskilled.
suggestion in the chat, as we're getting up to sort of gather information, Sister Garnet goes, "Where were you?"
Oh, darling, when the fight was breaking out, I went to go summon the guards.
Oh.
Clever.
they don't like
You can both have bennies for that one.
That was very good of you.
Good work,
I
chat.
mean, at least they stopped.
I knew Our Lady Iron had everything under control.
And that she did.
Hey. Did it explode?
Explode. 6, 7, 8.
Okay.
I'm just putting the head back on the wall and polishing it a little bit. It's gotten a little dusty.
If it doesn't
course,
involve
yeah.
buying
Rob
extravagant
Bramble,
dinners,
she can't
I'm
climb
not
anymore.
Yeah.
relevant with
I'll
that.
take care of it.
Apparently.
All right, so what do we get? Did anybody get higher than a 4?
I got an 8.
An 8.
At an 11.
An 11. Okay, great. So you guys are going to uncover quite a bit of information.
I feel like Lady Iron just goes door to door and like knocks on doors and people, they're like, "Tell me what you know."
I am Lady Iron.
I am Lady Iron, birther of 8 children. You will tell me what I want to know.
She was her own midwife.
And,
Oh, yeah.
of course.
Oh yeah,
And her own
nothing
doula.
but like a leather strap.
And then on the job the next day.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
totally.
yeah.
Tireless this
Sometimes
woman.
she would
Strapped to
fight
her.
like she'd like
Wait a
strap her
minute, she
kids.
got no maternity leave?
None.
She didn't want any.
Lady Iron needs no maternity leave.
Oh, everybody needs some maternity leave.
She gave it to her husband. He was weak.
The nobles decided only they get maternity leave, so it's a whole thing.
Oh, so you're in America.
Yeah. So, I wouldn't say that the people are receptive to this tactic, but they're certainly compliant.
That's all I ask for.
Yeah. And are you asking specifically about the Leafstone coins, about these daughters you've heard of?
I'm
about the
specifically
guards?
asking about people's hardships,
Okay.
things that have happened to
course
them,
she is.
and where they feel it came from.
Okay, gotcha. That's good to know. And then Sister Garnet, you got an 11. That's also with a
Yeah.
raise. So what are you asking about specifically?
Are we staying in the tower and talking to people?
No.
You're in, like, left.
You're roaming the whole
She's like,
town.
Okay.
I will go
Why?
and find out. She leaves.
Okay, so I am being my regular inviting self. Played a little music, trying to lift people's spirits a little bit, catching
course.
people's eyes, giving them a genuine little kind of smile.
Of course, yeah.
Like,
You might even be busking or something.
yeah, I mean, like, if people want to throw money at me, they can. I'm not gonna put a hat down or anything. But, like,
But there it is.
But there's a hat on the ground. I'm
Where'd
just
it
gonna
come
stand
from?
next to it.
Red bear.
So as people are kind of taking note of the music is when I'm sliding questions in to see, who the two bands were, what their kind of deal is in the town, how long they've been here, if there's anything we can do to help, what would it be, like general broad strokes.
Perfect.
Questions.
And did you get anything worth mentioning?
I was not doing the
Okay,
strokes.
sounds good.
I am a woodsman.
Yeah,
I
of
don't
course.
do the talking to people thing.
People.
That's why I rolled so high, because you
Yep.
didn't roll at all.
Of course,
right.
yeah.
I'm taking care of Owl's portion of the
It's
investigation.
practically a cooperative role.
Yes.
And Red Bear, did you roll?
Red Bear rolled poorly, so I think Red Bear just retired to the inn and had some drinks while everybody else was out gathering intelligence.
Sounds good. Okay, so first of all, we'll do Sister Garnet. In the course of your playing on the street, first of all, you earned 4 silver pieces.
Nailed it.
And second of all, you find out some information about both the Leafstone coins and the group that you realize is called the Daughters of Silk.
Ooh.
The Leafstone coins, as we already know, are a group of physicians who they answered the call of errantry just 2 years ago, shortly after Owl Guntram was here. When they're not fundraising for the needy, they're usually at the Sage Pine Tea House, where they like to conspire ways to better help the beleaguered people of the town. The Daughters of Silk, on the other hand, are acrobats and dancers that roam all over the streets. They use their earnings to run a soup kitchen near Turnison Tower, a place which is over near the noble section, but it's actually in kind of like a ghetto area that's nearby. Each one of them are incredibly boastful individuals, as electric dancers tend to be. You also find out that the Leafstone coins hope to buy their way into the Vosserlin noble court because they want to try and influence the court to be more benevolent to the commoners. In addition, you find out that the Daughters of Silk are not all that friendly. They are passionate about helping people in need, and woe betide anyone who gets in their way on that mission. Not only do people tend to get roughed up, there have been rumors that people have been killed because they've tried to interfere with their fundraising efforts or their helping the needy. Yes. Also, we've got Lady Iron going down or door to door trying to figure out what's going on with the town in general. You found out that spring is important for Vosserlin because Vosserlin is a hunting town.
Okay.
The hunters head out at the beginning of spring. They try to get game, but what they're really doing is gathering herbs that bloom in the early spring. These herbs are really valuable, and they hope to be able to barter them with the nobility every spring. Because the nobles are the only ones who can afford them. So let's see here. It's been a long, hungry winter, and the herbs have come in. But the nobles haven't offered to buy them yet, which is a little disconcerting for the common people. You also find out that 3 rivers downstream, where you've come from, happen to have a much better harvest of these rare herbs. In fact, you were the ones who guarded the shipment up to the town.
Oh.
And you've heard that the nobility may be importing their stock of these herbs from another place instead of supporting their own commoners. And it occurs to you that if this information were to leak on a wide scale, it would upset the already upset commoners to the point of potential violence.
Okay.
So you guys can reconnoiter wherever you want. I figure the Crown Stag is probably the best place for you. And you can relay this information to each other.
So Lady Iron comes in. So is everyone else in the place?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So Lady Iron comes in, and she sits down at the table with you guys and goes, so it appears that the spring gathering has not gone well for this town. Remember those herbs that we brought up from the Three Rivers?
Yes, of course.
Apparently the nobles have bought that, and they're not spending their money on their peasants, they're exporting it from Three Rivers. So a lot of people are going to starve.
Well, that doesn't sit right with me at all.
But they were paid for legally, so...
Tough stuff.
Things are not clear cut here as far as those other errands go. The Leafstone coins are pretentious, but they're trying to buy their way into the nobility so that they can change the nobility's minds and do more good for people.
That sounds good.
Yeah, but the ladies in red, the daughters of Silk, are so determined to help the needy that they may have cut people. So...
Like to the quick?
Yeah, maybe. There's no proof. But some people are missing now because they're probably dead.
That's very aggressive charity.
Yeah, I've never seen charity that aggressive. So
It seems odd to me that all of this focus has been drawn to the Leafstone coins when it's clear that the nobility here are obstacles to general community health.
yeah.
Well, do they serve any sort of public purpose, the nobility, or are they just freeloading? I don't like selfish children.
Ideally, the nobility is there to support the common folk.
Right.
Since the Elder King disappeared, a lot of nobles have abandoned their duties.
Yeah.
And it seems like this might be those kind of nobles.
So me, being a zealot to the way of the Elder King, would look at that and go like, okay, that's where the problem is.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree though. I think that that's probably the root of the problem.
She just stands up and goes, someone needs a talking to.
Now, nobles don't just hold open court. You would need to get an invitation to hang out with them. And even a sentinel might have a hard time doing that without an inn.
I have a suggestion. And Lady Iron, you might not like it.
Do we have to go in disguise?
Hear me out. No, it's no going in disguise, no deception.
So far I
light deception.
Oh, okay.
I don't like it as much now, but continue.
What noble would want to talk to a sentinel but a noble who has a problem to solve? And let's just say, hypothetically, that one of these nobles noticed something was missing. If something went missing from one of these nobles...
I'm going to walk away and not hear anymore,
No, go on. Yeah.
but I like this plan.
If we took something, they would immediately seek out the nearest sentinel and hear...
Lady Iron literally goes to the other side of the room, so she does not
Like,
hear.
la la la
So
la
Verana,
la.
the most important thing that could possibly go missing that the nobles would all want to have taken care of is that which we brought.
Well, who better to make sure that something disappears than those responsible for its safety? And we've brought it. It's out of our hands.
Yeah.
So it's not our fault if they lose it.
Yeah, we've already gotten paid for that.
That is some A+ legalism right there.
Literally, Lady Iron is in the corner. She's like pulled out her pipe. She's smoking. Just like in the corner, she's...
Aggressively humming to herself.
National anthem, whatever that is.
Okay, so I'm sensing a plan to hijack these herbs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm sensing that Lady Iron isn't on board with that.
Lady Iron is on board with what's happening, but doesn't want to know about it.
She should not have a place.
As a mother, she
gonna be a
knows
surprise.
that if she doesn't know what's going on, she can't get angry at it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a good policy. Yeah, I agree. Okay. So anyway, and it occurs to you, alone here, trying not to get involved in chicanery, that
Such a good word.
the Leafstone coins did offer to entertain you, and that they do have a connection to the nobles.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. So Lady Iron, she's thinking about this and goes, and stands up and walks over and says, I believe I will go have a cup of tea.
Yep.
Great.
You may find me at the Sage Pine Tea House when you need me.
That's where the Leafstone coins are.
You're so precious.
Right? That's what they said.
You're so
God, that was-
precious.
You guys. I get it now. I get it.
I'm going to go when you need me. You know where to find me.
Okay.
All right.
I'm
Okay.
going to escort Verana into the woods.
Verana. Into the woods. What are you doing there?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh,
I'm telling Lady Iron. I'm going to escort Verana into the woods. We'll see what we can gather.
Yes. Be sure to gather a lot.
Yeah, well, we figured we
Legally
could help.
from the woods.
Absolutely.
Delightful. You can all have bennies for this scene because that was great. Everybody gets a Benny.
You get a Benny. You get a Benny.
That was beautiful.
Okay, so let's see. We're going to handle this with a quick scene with Lady Iron talking to the Leafstone coins.
Sure.
And then we're going to switch over to a dramatic task to try and heist these herbs,
Yes.
right? Okay, so first of all, the Leafstone coins. You arrive at the Sage Pine Tea House. And there's a man there who's in his 20s. He's got an immaculately trimmed mustache and a brilliant smile. And he seems to be holding court over the rest of the Leafstone coins. There are about 6 of them here in the tea house. And it's a much better appointed tea house than the tavern you were in earlier. It's indoors. There's actual, lanterns instead of torches. There are some tapestries hanging from the walls and that sort of thing. And the man with the nice mustache, he walks over and he says, "Oh, you must be the sentinel that I was told visited our Leafstone coins earlier. Eckert Rittergratz, wonderful to make your acquaintance."
Pleasure.
Ah, yes. What can I do for you here in town?
I heard you have good tea.
Of course we do. Of course. Please take a seat. Excuse me. Please bring some tea for the sentinel. She's thirsty. Eventually, the tea is brought to you, and he says, "So, I'm terribly sorry about the spat that broke out earlier today. It's very unbecoming, I understand, and I assure you it is not something that we do willingly."
You are head of the people here?
Why, yes, I am the head of this band of errantry, as you say.
Interesting. Do tell me all about medicine.
Well, of course.
She lights her pipe and just sits here and settles in for the long haul.
Well, we are all practicing physicians, of course. It's one of the ways that we help the people of Vosserlin. And what we're going to do is tell you exactly how that happens. So, I would like suggestions from the chat about Blackwood-style medicine that these people administer to the common folk.
Chat.
And in the meantime, we will switch over to the dramatic task to steal these herbs.
So where do you envision these herbs being held?
That's the thing. The first step is going to be figuring out where they are.
they
So
put them.
everybody make a streetwise check for me if you're participating in this heist.
I was thinking that I would be able to track it.
Ah, that would work too. Tracking is acceptable.
I got a 10.
A 10, all right.
9 on my tracking.
Okay, so all of you managed to work together to find out where these are located, right? So they were taken off the ship, and you noticed the tracks lead straight through the market. And you followed them to a place where there was a stall set up, but then the stall has since been taken down because it's evening. At that point, Streetwise comes into play, and between the two of you, you managed to grease some palms, you managed to entertain some people, And you discover that there is a warehouse right on the harbor, actually right next to the water, where these herbs were taken. The warehouse is fairly well guarded. It is the noble's warehouse, so most of the city guard keeps watch. And yeah, we're going to say that there's a patrol of 8 guards who wander around this warehouse to keep things under control. And you notice that the town guard is there, but also there are some errants who have just been hired as guards to guard this place too. So those 8 figures are a mix of official town guards and hired errants.
Okay. Man, this town is just crawling with errands.
It really is.
How common are errands, out of curiosity?
They're pretty common, yeah,
Okay.
especially now, because life is so crappy in the Blackwood at this point that people are like, well, I can't survive if I stay home, so I might as well take to the road and try and make a life for myself, and maybe I can send some money back home or something.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, so that's what we're dealing with here. If you want to steal this stuff, it's going to be a stealth check. And the nature of a dramatic task is that all the checks are made at -2, and you have to get 5 successes over the course of 5 rounds.
Dang.
So, yeah.
So I've got +2, so that just cancels out and it's raw dice rolls, right?
Yeah, yeah, and you two can definitely make assisting checks in whatever skills you think are going to be relevant.
So I'm planning on doing a lot of distracting. So I'm going to be doing. I'm going to use some beanbag arrows
Okay.
Cute.
to make noise in the brush off there,
Awesome.
and now off there.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing.
That sounds great. So that would be a shooting check. Go ahead and give me one of those.
And it's only a 5. I think I'm going to Benny that. I'd like that to be
Okay.
better. That's still not good enough. Come on! 5 is what I got.
5 is, yeah.
Could have been a lot better.
Have you been writing down that?
Oh yeah, I'm
Medicine
right.
methods. Okay. I
Lady
might borrow
Iron's
that
gonna
from
try. I'm gonna have them try everything on you.
Yeah. Oh God, none of it will work.
Not on Lady Iron.
Carl,
You're keeping track of the chat,
needles are
Eli?
gonna bend.
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, no. I'm sorry. You're keeping track of the chat? You guys are with the
Yeah,
medical
Lady
stuff?
Iron is
Excuse
listing
me.
some stuff for
Yeah.
us. So you got a success, but not a raise.
Yeah.
So you can add a +1 to Red Bear's roll whenever it comes time to do this stealth check. Sister Garnet, do
Yeah.
you have something you'd like to do to cause a
So,
distraction?
like, Sister Garnet really wants to help steal the stuff, but she can't keep up with. There's no stealth here. So I feel like Sister Garnet is pulling like an Esmeralda and Jolly situation
Delightful.
out front or like off to the side somewhere. So that it doesn't look like, hey, I'm gonna set up my little stage here and distract you guys, but it's like it's close enough that they can hear the music. Maybe she's singing some kind of funny, maybe some slightly dirty, irreverent tunes that are making. They're
That's sure
chuckling
to
under
attract
their
the
breath.
guards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
getting increasingly dirtier just to test the waters, like see how much they're listening.
So I think the best thing to do in this case would be to roll your arcane skill, which I believe is knowledge classics.
Yep.
Because the classics are a collection of laws, but they're also a collection of lore, songs, that sort of thing.
yeah. Okay, so let's see. Knowledge lore or knowledge classics. There's 2. So
Knowledge classics would be knowledge lore would be more appropriate.
knowledge lore.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a D8 plus 2 and the wild die. Okay. I'm totally Mozart. Yes. Oh!
Can't wait for the Salieri episode.
Because it's coming.
Yeah.
So that's a 10.
10, okay.
Plus
so that-
2.
So yeah,
12. So that's a
12.
success with 2 raises, so you can add +3, so you're at a net of +4 right now.
Oh.
You've already got 1 success for this roll.
Beautiful.
cool.
So go ahead and give me your stealth roll and tell me how this is happening.
Okay. Well, I'm going to roll first. I'm going to see where I'm at. Yeah, I'm going to Benny that because that was 2 1s. And this scene deserves better than that.
Of course.
Benny that sucker.
Well, that's still bad. I'm throwing down another Benny
Sounds
there.
good. The bennies have been flowing, so.
Yeah, you know what, that's 4. I think I can do better than 4.
All right.
All right, come on.
I believe you.
Getting chancy.
Dang, y'all. One more.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, that is a 6, and I'm gonna stay at 6.
All right.
Plus the 4.
Plus the 4, so that's 10.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the song that you're playing, like you were playing these raunchy songs and whatnot, but you decided to move on to something that you've been playing around with, and that is the Ballad of the Red Bear.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
So we
I
have
was thinking about it earlier.
Good.
Yes.
we have music sort of filling the streets as we're watching shots of these super intimidating looking guards moving around this warehouse. You can see like some upset peasants like milling around, just sort of like glaring at it. And you and we see like moving from rooftop to rooftop is Verana, not the Red Bear, but Verana herself.
Actual Verana.
Yeah, moving at the slightly clumsy, slower pace that she has to move at when she is Verana, so that she can maintain her identity as the Red Bear.
Yes.
Of course.
And we see her like fiddling with a candle and a bundle. We can't quite see what's moving on, but she jumps down and moves to the warehouse. She creeps, like she's looking over these guards, and she sort of flows down to the ground, rolls past these guards, and then because I do get with leaf step, wall walker. She like rolls past these guards and like just pads her way up the walls of this warehouse and rolls into a window inside.
Delightful.
Clinging inside the window, she sort of like cases around the warehouses. I'm gonna have to do more rolls, right?
Yeah, eventually. But what was
This
the
is great.
total that you got this time?
That was
With the
10.
10 with the +4 bonus
And
included?
with the +4 bonus included.
All right, so that's 2 successes. You only need 3 more to be able to successful steal this stuff.
Boy, and I've got 2 bennies left to go.
Meanwhile, back at the Sage Pine Tea House.
So I feel like as they were talking, Lady Iron gives, this thing has always hurt me, and it's never gone away. And so they begin to do their version of like they start doing medicine on her.
Of course, yeah.
And nothing works. The scene opens up, and she's basically just in a robe now. And they've like all the acupuncture needles are all bent. They tried small doses of toxic plants, but like they had to up the dose and up the dose and up the dose. Like, any more will kill you. She's like, bring it on.
More, no.
She's like, they had leeches and maggots, and then they did this dance thing where they thought that would work for a little while. What's topiary?
A topiary?
Yeah,
like
it's
a
like a
shaped bush.
So they brought those
It
in.
wilted and died.
It's topiary feng shui. and it
Yeah,
just-
and then they like did that around her as she's like just in a robe, like smoking. They brought in energy crystals and tried to do that, and like the energy crystals like went dark. And they tried. One of the things they said was rune veggies. They like carved runes into vegetables and then put them into a stew and had her eat it, and she was like, "It was good stew." They did medicinal music. They did massage therapy. She liked that. That was good. They ground up animal
But they
parts.
couldn't, like, their hands were
So
so
they're like
damaged.
their heads are all cramped, and they're like, I can't.
It's like molding granite.
And like they always leave, and the next one is waiting for, like with their like, and they like walk out.
They
Oh, my
rotate
head.
every 30
They just
seconds.
rotate.
They're like,
They're like they'd reverse voodoo and everything, and nothing works at all. And she's just sitting there in like a robe, smoking her pipe, and she's like, nothing works.
and so Eckert at this point, he says, you know, a woman of your resilience really could be so valuable to our endeavor here in town. We spend so much of our coin trying to ingratiate ourselves with the nobility, and we want to spend more of it on the people. If you would deign to come with us to House von Kor tonight, we're attending one of the noble banquets, and we hope to convince the nobles that they should be more benevolent toward the people of Wasserland. They've harvested so many fine herbs. They should be able to sell those herbs to the nobility, and we want that to happen.
I'd be honored.
Very well. Well, they told me you had friends that came with you to town. Would you like them to attend as well?
No. So she stands up and she goes, "Oh, by the way, if you want to know something that cures all ills, a good orgasm." And then she walks out.
That's the woman who has 8 children.
What does her husband look like?
Proven effective.
There's 8 of them.
If there's a husband, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was destroyed in the course of it.
They're not all from the same guy. That's for sure.
She has to replace it.
She's burned through quite a few.
She's burned through. Hold on. 5 husbands.
Wow. Okay, good to
So
know.
is she on her 6th, or was 5 the last one, and she
5 is the last one. She hasn't. She hasn't.
As
been
they
married.
say in the Blackwood, 5 and done.
5 and done. Yeah.
Turns out it was auspicious anyway. Okay, so you're going to attend this banquet.
She does turn. And she's like, "Is it like formal or?"
Well, you can wear this robe if you want, but you might make a bigger splash if you were to wear that golden sentinel armor of yours.
She just walks out.
So I assume she's wearing
No,
the
she's
robe.
wearing the armor, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. Meanwhile, back at the warehouse, we have our round 2 of our dramatic task.
Yeah, so clinging to the inside of this window, looking over the boxes for those familiar crates that we got in here earlier. So I get a 4.
A 4. Okay. Would either of you like to try and up the ante on your distraction to give him a bonus?
And this is still at the -2, right?
Well, but I think you said you have a +2.
I have a +2.
Yeah, so it would just be 4.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
neutrals out, just making sure.
So now that I assume that you're letting me watch you get there. So we've coordinated this.
Yeah, like you
okay.
saw a robe like just move gracefully up into the windows.
I'm sure both of you quietly cheered when
Yeah.
she made it inside.
So, well, I've seen her do this before. I'm just kind of nodding. Yep, this is exactly how it should go. She's our Parker, basically. And so yeah, I think at this point, I'm going to go into observation mode and make sure that I'm keeping track of the patrols so that I can let her know when it's good to come out or which way it's good to come out.
Of course. So as
that's-
you're observing, you notice there's a torch that passes through a light, or passes through a window up above, right near where Red Bear entered the warehouse.
Okay.
And you see it's heading toward the window she entered. But there is one more window between.
Wait, is Red Bear here?
No,
It's
Red
still
Bear is
Verena.
not here. This is still Verana.
Oh, Verana. Sorry,
Yeah.
my bad.
I'm holding Red Bear as a surprise. I'm
Okay.
hoping that I get to use it.
So I think I'm gonna try and shoot
Okay, with one of these beanbag arrows.
these beanbag arrows through that window
Awesome.
to hit whoever's carrying that torch.
Okay, so give me shooting, and let's say this is a -2 because of the range increment.
Yep. No, I'm aiming.
Oh, okay.
Which means I half my range penalty.
Okay,
So it's only a -1.
perfect.
And I get a plus, the pluses for aiming, and I'm gonna spend the Benny on that.
Yeah, you are.
Okay, so that's gonna be with the aim and the -1. That's a 9.
A 9, okay, so that's 2 raises, so you can add +2 to your result of 4.
Perfect.
And then Sister Garnet, what about you?
Yeah, they're loving it. So, I'm not gonna switch modes. I'm gonna ride this one out,
Okay,
and I am continuing the
The Ballad of the Red Bear.
The Ballad of the
Ballad
Red
of the
Bear.
Red Bear,
But I'm
all right.
sneaking in like blue collar socio-political jokes. that they
Yeah,
would
here
get.
we go.
So like they're actually like they're all like kind of looking over and like
yeah.
yeah.
Perfect.
This town doesn't have a classicist, so that's a 5.
A
ain't
5, so
bad.
that's one more success, so that's a +3. That doesn't quite get you to a raise. So as of right now, it's just 3 successes over the course of 2 rounds.
I'm comfortable with that right now.
Cool. All right. So yeah, that's what we're doing there. And then Lady Iron, you arrive at House Von Kor with the Leafstone coins in tow. And this is a brick building. Kind of rare in most of the town, but the nobility, they're fancy. And so you are ushered in. Everybody's making a big to-do about the fact that a sentinel is here in town. A lot of nobility with their replete brocade robes and decked out with all of this jewelry, and their hair is coiffed really high. Anybody who wants to in the chat is welcome to describe the type of jewelry that these people are wearing. It can be as mundane or as exotic as you want it to be. They're particularly fond of things like antler accents and furs and things like that, so go nuts. And then we'll keep track of what they are. So, here you are, and you are introduced to Lord Von Kor himself. He is a man who's about 10 years your senior. He has a sort of, it would be rugged handsomeness, but it's like he's got the bone structure for rugged handsomeness, but he's clearly never worked a day in his life. So he's tall and he's decadent and he's
Pudgy.
Yeah, he's a little soft, you know. It's not like he's got a jowl, but there's a little bit
But, you know,
something
there's
going on.
a little rounder in places than he should be.
Yeah, of course. So he comes up and he says, Sentinel, how are you?
Pleasure.
Do you find our town to your satisfaction? Unhand me, and
She goes,
gotta do some grip strength training.
you can tell a lot about a man by the way he grasps things.
What do you know about me now?
Maybe I'll tell you later. And she walks away.
He gives you a quick down up as
This
you
is
leave.
why we don't let her go out on her own like this.
I don't know. She's doing fine.
So as you're walking around, you overhear a lot of conversation. You hear things about how the guards, the patrols along the walls have been doubled recently because of all this news of a possible pagan attack that is coming or mounting out in the forest. Pagans serve the elves, and they are diametrically opposed to the aims of the Elder Kingdom. They want to destroy every city and let the wilderness take hold all over the Blackwood. And the guards are patrolling here, but you hear there's a little bit of conflict. Maybe some people think the pagans are just rumors, and they're not actually going to attack. You also hear something that perhaps disturbs you a little bit. The guards have been given instructions by the nobility to quell any uprisings that happen as a result of recent business deals. And they are permitted to use as much violence as they would like.
Oh boy, that's
That-
not good.
That doesn't sit right. Like the pagan thing, if it's true, then she's like, no, I understand that. But this whole with business, that doesn't jive. So I feel like she wants to stop, and she wants that conversation where people are like, well, you know, I hear that if the business isn't doing it, they have rights to go in and take care of that. She wants to step into that conversation and say, I'm sorry, what was that again?
It's a woman and a man who are speaking to each other. They're clearly not the most wealthy nobles in attendance. One of them is wearing a J-Lo dress, but made out of dyed ermine fur.
Yes.
And the other one has a set of ancestor beads that are made of emerald, sapphires, and topaz.
The decadence here.
Yeah, and they're discussing. And sorry, did you say something to them, or did you just insert yourself?
She
in the
just
conversation?
like steps into the conversation. Like they're obviously talking to each other like this, and she steps up to them.
Beautiful.
Oh, wonderful, the woman speaks to you. She says, oh, yes, I'm so glad to see a sentinel in our midst. We have such unruly peasants, and so ungrateful. We have deigned to delay the spring tax a full week, and still they clamor for us to buy their paltry products. It's disgusting. The other one just nods in agreement.
She goes, it is disgusting when people starve for no reason.
Oh, let me tell you about starvation. This winter, I had to cut down on the number of banquets I threw. I was only able to throw 4.
Heaven forbid. Oh, I must ask, when are you due?
What? Excuse me?
She turns and goes, I'm the mother of 8 children. I would know. And she like pats and goes, she pats a little bit and goes, oh, I'm sorry. It's just 4 banquets. And turns around and walks away.
Lady Iron!
as you continue to mosey your way through this noble banquet, you start to hear rumors about, like, you start to see people, like, looking at you and whispering to each other.
She wants more of that.
Okay.
I'm going to say that's what she does the rest of the evening. She walks around, she listens, and she gives the most hard iron smack with the cut downs that she possibly can.
Good.
She goes
Good.
around, her philosophy tonight is basically, these children need a talking to. And that's what she does.
And rightfully so. Yeah. Rightfully so. Okay, so back at the warehouse, you are inside, and you have just recently knocked out a guard
Right.
who was about to discover you. So you hear this behind you.
So good.
And there's a guard who's just lying there.
Weird.
His lantern is cast aside on the ground.
Well, never look a gift horse in the mouth. Picks up she steps up the guard, picks up the lantern, and like sort of looks, like turning the lantern away, looks over the warehouse. Are there any other guards in here?
You do spot a couple within eyesight. There are rows of crates and there are corridors and that sort of thing. So you can't see every corner of the warehouse. But there are two, one considerably ahead of you moving away, and one who is around the corner from you but is starting to walk in your direction.
Okay. So she is going to move up the wall into the rafters and cling to it waiting for this guard to drop around the corner.
Okay.
She's going to wait until the exact moment that he spots the other guard and then descend upon him to take him out.
Sounds good. Okay, so this will be a stealth check.
Okay.
We'll just call the actual attack by rote. But if you pass the stealth check, then you can do the attack successfully.
Excellent. And that is going to be a 5.
A 5. That is a success. So yeah, you get one more success in this dramatic task. We're halfway through, and you only need one more success to win.
Perfect.
And you drop down on top of this guard. He crumples to the ground.
All right.
And it just so happens, from your vantage point here on top of this guard, you can see down a corridor, and there's a very familiar-looking crate down there.
Are these crates distinctive at all?
Yeah, so the crates in the Blackwood come in all shapes and sizes. These ones in particular are fresh wood, like they've just been split right before the trip started. And so they are green, and they have a stamp on them from, it's the stamp of the trading company back in Three Rivers that organized this endeavor.
Beautiful. Then I think we see a scene of Verona like sauntering over to that area of the warehouse where we can see other crates around, and she pulls out of one of the like pouches that she's got on her hip a seal that is the exact seal of that shipping company. She tosses it in her hand and catches it, and we just see her like round the corner there.
Nice. And then there's a wipe over to Housebound Core again. And so you're walking through, and you see a man who's wearing lederhosen made of cured red bear hides.
Yeah! Wow!
Oh my god.
And
Boy, is this fella lucky!
and decorated with obsidian buckles and buttons.
Oh my goodness.
So extravagant.
So he comes up to you and he says, "Hey, good work with old lady Sourpuss back there. She needs to be taken down a notch or two."
Agreed.
Hey, you know, forgive me for saying this, but that is some excellent armor you're wearing. Did you get it made in Span, perchance?
I did.
Ah, very
I built it
nice.
with my own 2 hands.
I'm impressed. I have family there. One of them is a blacksmith, in fact, but it sounds like you had no need for his services.
No.
Ah, very nice, very nice. Can you make a notice check for me at a -2?
Somebody's trying to be number 6.
What is it again? That's what I noticed.
Notice check at -2,
Amazing.
yeah.
He'll only make it to 5.5 looking at his weak frame.
3.
A 3 is all you got?
A 3. That's all I
Okay,
got.
so yeah, you're scanning the crowd and you see a lot of colors and fabrics and all sorts of this stuff just kind of swishing around everywhere. That's canon, yeah. Lady Iron just glared at the metal until it assumed
I think
the
she
desired shape.
squeezed it.
She throttled it.
That's her
like-
grip
like a-
strength
like a-
training.
Yeah.
Like a potter's clay, she turned
Like
the iron.
pizza dough.
Very nice. Okay, so yeah, you are traveling through here, and actually, here's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
You can spend a Benny to reroll if you want, because
Okay.
what you will be noticing is a red shawl slinking through the background.
Okay.
You don't have to reroll, but you can.
Oh, I totally will. And I get a 7.
A 7.
Yeah.
All right. Well then, over the crowd, up a staircase, going further back into the manor, you see a very familiar band of red silk kind of flutter around the corner and out of sight.
I can't abide thievery. I can't do it. But I can't abide selfishness either. So I just go and I stand on a table.
Okay.
Just in like the buffet table. I stand up and I kick something off of it.
Okay.
And like stand on top of it.
The crowd is silenced.
And I go, I became a sentinel at this age of 16. I've spent my entire life living by the way of the Elder King. I know every word. I know every tenant. I know everything about him and his law. And I will say that not a one of you follows his law.
The guy in the lederhosen goes, here.
I am the mother of 8 children. And I know spoiled children when I see them.
Ooh. There's murmuring in the crowd at this point.
You will have one chance, and one chance only, to change. If you wish to, here is what you will do. You will be kinder to your peasants. You will treat them with respect. They trust you, and you have broken that trust.
So Eckert, the Leafstone coin, comes up at this point, and he's like, "Oh well, of course, what she means to say."
Silence!
So make me an intimidation check,
Okay.
and because
Please.
you're
Oh
trying
my
to
gosh.
affect the entire crowd, I'm going to say this is at a -3 penalty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lady Iron doesn't have. Okay, good. She should have this at a 12.
She.
Do it again. Do it again.
Here we go. Come on.
That's a 5. You're at a 2 right now.
Oh boy.
Just nail it. Burn the bennies.
Just gonna burn them.
Burn 'em.
All right.
We deserve this scene.
There's a 6.
There's a 6.
It aced.
And it's a 7.
-3 is 4, so you do succeed.
All right.
All
All
right.
right.
That's
All
enough.
right.
So the crowd is murmuring fairly loudly at this point, and you see Lord Von Kor come over, and he doesn't want to be coming over to you, but he stammers a little bit and he says, Dame Sentinel,
A man will speak up and look me in the eye.
He almost takes this like a challenge, and you can see he's like withering as he's trying to stand up straight, but he's trying, you know. And he says, "I am Lord of this house.
Are you warning me?
I have 2 things to say. First, we value the Elder King highly in this place," and you hear a few people murmur what sounds maybe like dissent. But
To which Lady Iron goes, really?
the murmuring stops. And we will take your advice under serious advisement. In fact, I pledge that we lower the spring tax by 1 silver piece per household.
Gasps.
5.
Just gasps.
Somebody drops a glass. Someone drops a glass.
A woman faints.
To which he goes, he says, we will make it 5.
He says,
And then
"Fine."
a man faints.
He goes, as I say, we will take this under serious advisement. And also, as Lord of this house, we are well-mannered here. And it is clear that the sentinels have become uncouth. So, madam, I appreciate your service, but please, this is a nice house, and we request that you leave.
She steps down and is right above him.
She's still taller. She's still taller than him.
She goes, you have warned me, and yet I will persist.
Sick. Relevant.
To it, she looks at him and goes, I've eaten bigger men than you. And she turns around and one last look and says, "You will not have my protection then."
Ooh, okay.
And she walks out
Of the
they're
house.
about
of the
to
house.
need
Okay.
it.
To let whatever the red women want to do, they can do now.
Eckert tries to chase after you, but he's unable to prevail upon you. Long story short.
I mean, I feel like there's one moment where he does catch up and she just turns and looks at him and goes, "How dare you?
Oh, man. He says,
You serve the Elder King,
well, of course.
not from where I stand."
Oh, well.
She just looks at him and goes, "Try harder."
Walks away. Hard line.
All right, he's standing there on the steps outside, all alone, as you walk away, and he looks at his hands, and then he slumps, and then he pulls himself up again, and he turns around, and he goes back into the banquet. Because he has a job to do that you happen to have already done. And then back at the warehouse, we have potentially our last round here.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so how many more successes do I need?
One.
One? Okay, so I can just probably roll this out. So I got a 5. Will that do it?
That'll do it. Yeah,
All
that's
right.
your success you need.
So the way this fan is unfolding, as the Ballad of the Red Bear is like reaching a crescendo point, you've got villagers like gathered around going, "Yes! Screw the man and more stealing." We see in the warehouse itself, like one of the guards rounds the corner and sees the two guards who are knocked out on top of each other, like grabs a whistle, blows the whistle, and rounds the corner to see smashed boxes and bottles.
Okay.
Just in the warehouse, like completely torn apart, where the crates that we dropped off were.
Okay.
At that time, we cut to the rooftop where Verana was starting. And we see Cameron pulling a rope that is backlit by several candles, and we see the silhouette of the red bear on that roof. And like shouting from the ground, "It's the red bear! It's the red bear from the song!"
Sister Garnet's like, yes, and plays harder.
And with like a mighty pull, the cape and cloak thing that Cameron had set up looks like it turns around and starts running on the rooftops. We see the guards on the ground like running after, shouting, "It's the red bear! It's the red bear!" And Verana drops down from the rafters in this warehouse, and she moves over to like the actual boxes that are not smashed up and have merely been relabeled as rice, and she just pushes them out of the warehouse slowly and like loads them up onto a cart where our friend is waiting. Our friend the archer is waiting.
Yep.
Delightful.
Ride off into the sunset.
All right. So
So good.
And so, as the guards come around the corner to chase our cart, they run afoul of the trap that I've been setting, and just a cloud of smoke just puffs up into their eyes. They're all scrabbling at their eyes, and
Yeah,
they
it's
cannot
accurate a
see
little too. Yeah,
anything.
they're like,
and they hear the wheels driving off and cannot see anything.
awesome. Perfect. Okay, so everybody gets bennies for this scene because amazing, wonderful work.
Jets.
I have so many to use now.
Yeah, you gotta tell a really good story.
So, where are you taking these herbs?
Off into the woods.
Into the forest.
Yeah, I said we were going into the forest. I will not be a liar to Lady Iron.
That's good policy, though.
An
That's
owl
yeah.
tantrum. Let's go to the woods with the stuff we stole. That's a great
Right,
idea.
I'm going to gather. That's what I said I would do.
Very well. Maybe like stash them somewhere.
Yes,
Okay.
and or possibly begin to filter them back to the peasants so that they can resell them.
Okay. Very nice. Insidious. I like it. Okay. We're gonna go ahead, and unless anybody has anything they want to take care of tonight, we're gonna fast forward to the next morning.
That's fine.
But I assume you all reconnoiter and you can share whatever information you want. So feel free to play out that scene.
They go back to the inn, and Lady Iron is there. Not in her armor anymore. She's just in front of the fire smoking. And she looks over and goes, "How was it, kids?"
Did I make any money from the cards?
Yeah. You made another 8 coins.
Sick.
And by the way, the pouch that you got way back when, it's got like 70 silver coins in it.
We're so rich.
It's unreal. You can set up shop.
We could buy a house.
Basically, rent it for sure. Okay, so next morning comes and goes, or
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
How was it, kids? And they're like, yeah,
We gathered some herbs.
good.
I showed Verona where there were herbs.
You're a good boy.
I sang really, really well.
You're a good girl. Now, wash your faces and go to bed. She continues to.
let's all go wash our faces together.
Wash your faces.
And we can see like Cameron begrudgingly like with his rubbing his little
He's like
hand.
muttering
Terrifying
to
little
himself.
human hands. Yeah. All right, cool. So the next morning comes, and there is all of the heralds in the city are crying that the nobles have an announcement.
Oh no.
And it will be announced promptly at the hour of 10 in the harbor market. And so by the hour of 10, everyone is buzzing about how we're finally going to find out what the spring taxes are going to be. We're finally going to find out what the selling rate is for these herbs. And some people are like, yeah, this mysterious, like, I just found a bundle of herbs on my doorstep this morning. I'll take it, whatever money I can get, that's fine, whatever. And so there are around 100 commoners who have gathered here in the market this morning. And there is a herald who is clearly an agent of the nobility, much better dressed than any of the other heralds, and he's standing on a platform that's been erected near the water. So everybody gathers together, and the noble herald comes up and he says, "By noble decree, we are here to announce the spring taxes, and also to announce the going rate for the woodland herbs you have gathered, and to make various and sundry other announcements. First,
Ooh, sundry.
first, there has been a sighting of the outlaw known as the Red Bear.
Quietly play the theme from the song.
Chat, someone compose the theme for the Red Bear.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Quickly, go for it.
We need a rhyming couplet of the Red Bear.
That actually
A-B.
And we have known Red Bear to be outlawed in the city of Three Rivers and in the city of Span. Hereby, the Red Bear is outlawed in the city of Vosserlin as well, and a bounty of 100 silver pieces has been placed upon her head.
Whoa.
To which Lady Iron leans over to Venra and goes, "Good job."
I don't know what you're talking about.
Of course not.
And you notice in the crowd that there are Leafstone coins and Daughters of Silk here gathered at the place, but they're hanging to the back. Then you hear, and first of all, if you are an outlaw in the Blackwood, every right you have, including your right to life, is revoked. It is right for anyone to kill you, and the reward is just icing on the cake. So Red Bear's in considerable trouble here in town. Use that knowledge with wisdom.
Oh, in theory, yes. Very hot water.
Next, the herald continues. Furthermore, there has been a theft just last night in the house of Von Kor. Someone has raided his treasury. The fine Lord Von Kor has leveled a bounty of 20 silver pieces against any of the Daughters of Silk, because it is clear they are in league with this Red Bear. Observe the color of their raiment. Know them to be villains, and deal with them accordingly.
It makes sense.
A sizable portion of the crowd starts to make an uproar at this point, because apparently the Daughters of Silk are somewhat popular in the town.
Well,
despite
they're
their-
very driven to helping people.
Yeah.
Too driven.
But you also notice that the Daughters of Silk quietly leave and flee.
They're like done here.
And the Leafstone coins, if anybody is looking, they have a look of smug satisfaction on their faces. The Herald is a little disconcerted by the mild uproar that's going on in the crowd at this announcement, and he clears his throat. Attention all! Now we shall announce the spring taxes. Every household must pay unto the nobility 25 silver pieces for the season.
What
That's
was
so
it
much
before?
money. Yeah.
Well, what I didn't
Still a lot of money.
I just lean over to some guy and goes, "Is that bad?"
It's 7th, as it turns out, the burly porter.
Yeah.
And he says, "You're darn tootin' it's bad. It's nearly twice as high as it was last season. How are we supposed to pay that after a lean winter like we had?" And other people in the crowd are saying much the same thing. The uproar increases. It intensifies.
Lady Iron gets on the stage.
She just gets up there and we're like,
There's this boom as she goes up the stairs.
And then second of all, as you're climbing the stairs, the noble herald marks you, but then he turns back to the crowd. And finally, the nobility has decreed that the harvest of woodland herbs from the city of Vosserland has been paltry and unsatisfactory in the extreme. We will not purchase any of your herbs. We are importing them exclusively from 3 rivers down the way. The uproar really happens at this point, and in fact, the herald beats a hasty retreat.
Yeah, she moves him out of the way.
The herald is glad to be gone,
To which she just stands there silent
observing the crowd.
until the crowd begins to.
Yeah. So the crowd is distraught. A lot of the crowd just outbursts, but a lot of them eventually die down and they leave. However, there is a solid core of a dozen people who are gathered around a fountain in the middle of the market, and they are just livid. They are calling for the expulsion of the nobility. They're calling for immediate reparations, and they are just refusing to back down.
Are you angry?
Yes!
Why?
Because the nobles suck!
yeah.
That's good enough. Return to your homes and take what's yours.
They quiet for a second, and then one of them is like, "Do you mean? What are you saying?"
Your nobles have broken the Elder King's laws. They do not stand my protection or anyone's protection anymore.
Okay, so here's what's going to happen. The day will advance, and throughout the day, a crowd builds in the marketplace. And whereas before people were distraught, when they come back, they're angry. And it builds to the same crowd of about 100 people filling up this marketplace. And the guard is slowly filtering in and monitoring the situation from the sidelines, right? You've also got the Leafstone coins who are kind of working their way through the crowd and trying to talk reason. Is there anything everyone would like to do during the day while this is building?
Oh, yes.
Okay, what do you want to do?
I know how to pull the guard away.
You do?
Yes.
You do.
Verana, we got what we wanted out of that warehouse, right?
Oh, yes.
So it doesn't need to be there anymore.
I will say though, the warehouse is on the market, so it's
Right.
not like it would necessarily draw the guard away
no,
so
but
much
it
as
would-
occupy them.
Yeah, it would definitely occupy them.
Okay.
So I'm going to start rigging up some things for you to take, and I'm going to start rigging up some fire arrows.
Yep.
We're going to burn that thing down.
Yeah, I
Okay.
feel like that's.
That's a good idea.
I mean, as long as there's no civilian commerce going through there.
I don't think any of those goods are going to the people.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
It was a noble warehouse.
Okay.
Poor people can't afford warehouses.
Right, no, they can't. They
have,
only
like,
have
cellars and-
dog houses.
Yeah, dog houses.
I think this spring they'll only be able to afford 3 banquets.
We're trying to knock that down. Lady Iron.
Revolution for fewer banquets.
I go
sites.
door to door with everybody.
Okay.
I gather people all day long.
Okay, all right. Sister Garnet, what about you?
I think I set up camp by that fountain in the square, and like I talk to people, and I like sometimes people will come out of their houses with like their pitchforks or whatever, they're getting ready, and they're like, "Where are we supposed to go?" And I'm like, "Stay here, she'll come back." Lady Iron will come back, and I sort of like get to know the people and try to figure out what they really want to do here.
Yeah.
In their despair and their anger, and maybe we sing some songs. Maybe we kind of bond a little bit.
Sure,
So
that sounds great.
know we're on the side. Yeah.
So here's what happens. You two managed to set up this gambit to set the warehouse on fire. But it's difficult. It takes a long time because there is a big crowd, so it's really conspicuous, the work you're doing. So let's do stealth checks.
Be fairly subtle.
To prepare, and it'll be at -2 penalty for both of you.
Sure. Ooh. One shot.
Hey,
So that's a 9.
a 9. All right, success with a raise.
Ooh, here we go.
Ooh, there we go.
Alright.
There we go.
All right, so that is going to be 11.
11. Okay. Sounds good. So both of you got successes with raises. So not only are you able to get this stuff set up, but you're actually able to set it up in such a way that you think this thing is going to burn down real fast whenever it lights. There hasn't been a lot of rain recently, so it's already dry, but the way you've set up all these little piles of kindling, it's going to be quick. Lady Iron, you're going around and rabble-rousing.
Rabble-rousing, yeah.
As you're rabble-rousing, you see some dirty looks from the Leafstone coins, but that's not necessarily foreign to you at this point.
No,
You
they're
also-
weak men.
You also see that the people are armed with nothing better than pitchforks and like pots and pans
Shovels
and
and
stuff,
stuff,
shovels and
yeah.
this sort of thing. But some of them do have torches that they are bringing along. They haven't lit them yet because you know they're not going to stay lit all day, but this is what they're doing. And then Sister Garnet, as you're making your way through the crowd, kind of kumbayaing and making nice with people to try and understand them, you find out that a lot of people are upset that the Daughters of Silk have been outlawed. The Daughters of Silk have disappeared. They're not in Turnison Tower. That's the rumor that you've gathered. The guards went there and nobody was there. But there's a lot of sympathy for the Daughters of Silk in the crowd. That said, the Leafstone coins that are working their way through the crowd are making some convincing arguments. They are trying to encourage calm and a rational response rather than the mob that's building. So evening falls. The sun is blood red as it comes toward the horizon. And all of you find yourselves in this market with this mob stoked up around you. At this point, the Leafstone coins get up onto the platform and they start trying to gather everyone's attention. They manage to quiet the crowd because they too have a lot of social cachet. And they are going to make an argument that the solution is not to rampage through the city and destroy their own homes. The solution is to talk to the nobility and get them to see reason. At this moment, there is a flash of light and smoke on the platform, and an older woman who nonetheless has one of these silken shawls shows up. And you hear a murmur go through the crowd. It's Silk and Flame. Oh, it's the leader of the Daughters of Silk. Oh. And
NPC, we could have met had we been playing this game differently.
exposition. And so, these two figures are up here on the platform. And I'm assuming, Lady Iron, you're probably going to make your way up there.
Oh yeah, I'm making my way up there.
Okay.
Lady Iron doesn't rush
I was just gonna
anywhere.
say
Of
like
course,
she
yeah.
walks everywhere.
She's kind of a slasher villain.
Oh yeah,
If we're being
she
honest.
totally is. She's not
She's a
gonna
pursuit
run.
predator.
She will catch you.
So we're going to handle this like a social conflict.
Go for it.
And what's going to happen is there are two competing ideologies. It sounds like you're glomming on to the Daughters of Silk, who basically are calling for ousting the decadent nobles and calling for revolution.
That's what's just.
Okay, sounds good. So then you can argue on their behalf. They
Okay.
will defer to a Sentinel's authority in this matter. And then the Leafstone coins are going to make their own arguments, and so let's resolve this. What's going to happen is opposed persuasion checks
Okay.
for 3 rounds. And
Okay.
you want to try and get as big of a lead as you can over the opposing side.
Okay.
Right?
I don't have persuasion.
I think I'd be willing to let you use Intimidate in this situation.
Nice.
It seems to make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really in keeping with your character and how you've played her so far. Let me find...
Unless you want our bard to do the
you want
eloquent
do you want
speaking part of
underscoring?
That
this?
could work, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
What's your persuasion?
D6.
D6. Okay.
And a billion bennies.
yeah.
No,
It's,
You gotta-
yeah.
it's worth your time.
I saved them.
Perfect. Okay, so let's do round one of this. The opening argument from the Leafstone coins is that we need to reason with the nobility. We've already covered that. What is the rebuttal?
The rebuttal is that the king's law is just, and if they have broken if they do not follow the law, they are no longer just, and therefore deserve to be taken down.
Okay, that's a solid argument. I will give you a +2 bonus to your check.
Okay.
And Eckert Rittergratz himself, the leader of the Leafstone coins, is the one making the argument on their behalf. He's a wild card, so I will be rolling a wild die for this as well. Oh, and I'm definitely spending a Benny on that.
Yeah, looks like we got a bunch of Benny spins.
I got a 5,
I got a 5 as well.
but with your +2,
Oh, that's right. +2.
yeah. And if you want, you can make your persuasion check to underscore or to supplement the argument
Please,
and give a
please.
bonus to him as well.
Yeah. I can do that.
Because again, the goal is to get as much above every opposing roll as possible. Hey! That one-shot die, though.
Ew,
told you.
gosh.
11.
11, that's a success with a raise, so you can add +2 to your check.
Okay, so that was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
8, 9, so that's a success, and I got a 5, so you got a success with a raise over me. Keep track of how many points you gather throughout this.
Success with raise. Done.
So, summarizing what you said, they're unjust, they need to be ousted, we need to take care of this. Eckert looks at you and he says, I am aghast that someone who defends the Elder Kingdom so stalwartly finds themselves in a position where they are opposing the people who are most able to help us right now. The nobility has vast coffers. They could be persuaded to be more generous if only we can prevail upon them with decency instead of intimidation.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Lady Iron just goes, my dear.
I'm not an expert in these matters, but I feel like what we're all getting at is that there needs to be new nobility. And I feel like maybe there's some candidates here who would be better nobles than the nobles we actually have right now.
He immediately, oh, well, I'm flattered. I do appreciate the sentiment, of course. So let's go ahead and make fresh checks.
Yeah, here we go.
You can roll a persuasion on that.
And I got a 5.
Ooh. Oh, she's going for broke here.
Ooh, boy. That
Yeah,
is.
there we go.
Okay.
All right,
8 total?
8, yeah.
Okay. If you want, you can try and intimidate
I'm
Eckert.
gonna roll an intimidation and see if
and see if
Like,
you can get a bonus.
step
She just
up,
adds
man.
her glare.
5.
5, so that'll give you a +1. So that brings you to, what is it total?
I had an 8, right? Yeah, 8.
So a 9, and
Yeah.
I got a 5, so that's another success with a raise. So you guys are 2 points ahead at this point. And then third and final round. Eckert is visibly shaken by this. He, at the one hand, thinks, oh, well, maybe I could be a noble. And on the other hand, he's like, really don't want to cross this dame. She's serious. And so he's going to say, perhaps that is the case, but these nobles are humans as well. They are not elves, they're not pagans. We are all citizens of the Elder Kingdom. We all swear fealty to the Elder King. Together, we should find a peaceful solution to this, one that doesn't upset the social order. I'm spending a Benny on that. Hey, okay, we got an ace. That's going to be 14 total.
14
Okay.
total. Okay.
Boy.
I mean, I feel like normally I would agree with you, but I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what you're thinking here because, like, you've got this entire army of peasants that wants to help you, solve this problem in a potentially violent way. But honestly, like, that's the point we're at. Lady Iron went to that banquet. She saw how things were going down, and they don't want to listen.
You know I tried.
She did give them a chance.
I think I was there, and I did see. And perhaps she tried in her own special
need to
way.
Think about what you are going to
Give me
say.
an intimidate check.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an ace.
7, 8, 9, 10.
10.
10.
So 10, so we just need
Because it's +2, you said? 10, 11, 12?
Yeah.
12. So we just need
12.
2 more on top of that.
So that's
Okay.
So you got.
So you need a success with a raise.
Oh, here we go!
That was an ace.
79.
That's a 9.
That's a 9. That is a success with a raise. So this round is negated. You guys got 14 total.
Oh,
Match with
it's
their
a 14.
14.
Okay.
And again, Eckert is visibly shaken by this, and he realizes that he can't spill the beans about how abrasive you were to these nobles because he might get decked, and he doesn't want to do that. So he's going to keep quiet. And how many above are you right now?
We are 2 above because we have 2 success with raises.
I mean, we had
No.
3, but one of them is negated. Is that what you said?
You had 3 successes, and then
Yeah.
the second one was a net 0.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2 with raises.
We're approaching that point, Krund.
Yeah.
Krond?
We're almost there.
Krond the Barbarian.
Are they smashing things yet?
Very soon,
Getting
Krond.
close.
Okay, so wait, you had 3 successes.
Yes.
And then in this round, it was negated because you matched their score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
there's
that's
2
just
more.
the 3.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what that means is that the crowd is fairly torn over this. They have definitely. You can spend bennies to try and roll higher, of course.
Look at all these bennies I have. Are you kidding?
If you're disappointed, Savage Worlds has a way to fix that.
It's
It's
going to
tough.
be hard to roll higher than...
I know.
Yeah. A success and a raise. That's a
we go.
success,
There you
though.
go.
7.
7, I mean 8, 9.
I mean, I don't really know what I'm saving these for, so.
Yeah.
9.
I will say this is not quite the last
That-
scene.
that's
Oh,
this is
snake eyes.
terrible.
Bummer.
Literally. Whatever, man.
Whatever comes from this, you gotta just let it ride.
Okay, so the best we got was a net 0 on this last round.
Yeah.
So yeah, the crowd is torn between these two viewpoints. There's a lot of people that definitely want to solve this peacefully. On the other hand, there are a lot of people who really get behind what you two are saying. At this point, Silken Flame stands up and she knows the crowd. She's worked among them for years at this point. And she says, what we need to do is support these fine errants who came into this city, and we need to storm that warehouse, we need to steal those herbs, and we need to dump them into Wasserland Harbor. We need to show the nobles what kind of shit we're going to tolerate, and then we need to kick them out of this town too.
Not a bad idea.
Who's with us?
I suggest we do the last part.
So I'm just gonna time it as she points.
It's-
That's the point where the fire just goes boom.
I think that's appropriate.
So good.
She goes because we've got to stop that warehouse. And as she's pointing, boom.
And Sister Gunnar goes, that was awesome.
So, this is chaos. And what was going to happen with
kind of what I
the
do.
dispirited crowd is that they were going to suffer a -2 penalty to their actions in this next scene. However, this scene of them already achieving their goal is going to negate that -2 penalty.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So good job, everybody.
Yay!
And I'll
We've
give you
incited
all.
revolution.
Yeah, that's right. I'll give you all bennies for
Bennies.
this scene as well.
Yes.
And now we find ourselves in the ultimate moment. We find ourselves dealing with a mass battle
Oh my gosh.
between the commoners, who are represented by 8 tokens here,
Oh man, oh.
and the town guard, who has been supplemented by a hastily summoned group of armored knights. And they are represented by 10 tokens.
Ooh. Okay.
Slightly outnumbered. Now, the way mass battles work, it's sort of a narrative approach, right? So every round, someone is going to make a knowledge battle check, and if you don't have that, you should.
I
So
do.
I'll ju-
I have knowledge battle, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what we will do then is We're going to resolve this basically like a combat with initiative rounds and everything like that. But we are also going to give everybody a chance to take actions during the combat that are in keeping with your character that can provide bonuses for your side, right? So,
Good.
let's see here. The odds have been determined. We're going to make opposed knowledge battle rolls, and one of the armored knights is a wild card, so he's going to get a wild die as well. But he's not super skilled, so he's just going to get a d6 on his skill die.
Can I use your special dice here? Is that okay?
Now, because the foe has a slight advantage in terms of numbers, you're making your check at a -1 penalty.
Okay.
However, you all can make contributing actions to give bonuses to his roll. So first of all, I'll make my check. I got a 4. I'm going to go ahead and spend a Benny and see if I can get higher. And I will
wait.
also...
Yeah, wait.
I will also... Do you remember, do we do initiative for mass battles?
No.
Okay,
It's
that's what I
just,
Yeah, yeah.
it's purely narrative.
So here we go, and I will roll again. I got a 5. 5 is the best I can do.
Okay.
So, make your check.
Terrible.
Okay.
That was bad. That's
That's not much better.
Not good.
Oh boy, last Benny.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Come on, Lady Iron.
5.
Okay, so 5. We're matched right now. If you want to get an advantage, then you all are going to have to contribute actions. And I will say, you have to get a raise to avoid damage on your action, because this is a mob.
Yeah.
There are guards and knights who are wading into the mob, and it's going to be tough. So, would you like to make an action?
I am shooting.
Okay, you're going to shoot at, what are you shooting at?
So I am. So describe this mass battle scene for me.
Yeah, so here's another thing too. We've got the marketplace, which I said is about 50 feet by 50 feet, so it's fairly small.
Yeah.
Well, you know, let's retcon that and say it's 100 feet by 100 feet.
That's better.
All of these people are in here. They're packed like sardines. The guards are closing in kind of in a formation with their shields and spears drawn.
Very Lunas.
Yeah, and
I am up on the tavern,
okay,
on the roof of the tavern,
right in
shooting
between
out.
the antlers.
Yeah, shooting
Yeah.
out.
Perfect.
That's what I'm doing.
So 5.
I'm gonna spend a Benny to try to get better than that.
Okay.
So I would like my raise.
Get that raise.
Yeah.
Six.
It's only a 6.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna stop there. I will
Okay,
take the
so you
damage.
will add +1 to your side's battle roll, but you are going to suffer 3d6 damage.
Oh, what?
Oh man.
So, this is against your toughness. Could be that you don't suffer anything. What is your toughness?
It is 5. I do have armor. I'm assuming this is not piercing.
Oh, but that was an ace. So the total is 6, 7, 8, 9.
I will attempt to soak.
Okay, sounds good.
So,
So for those of
Boy,
you who
I
are
have
not
Yeah,
a-
how does the soak
Yeah,
mechanics
explain
work?
that again.
Yeah, so whenever you take damage, it's opposed to your toughness score. And if the roll meets your toughness score, then you're shaken. If it meets it with a raise, then you get a wound, and you can suffer 4 wounds before you're incapacitated.
I am gonna take that wound.
Oh, bummer.
Oh,
Okay.
boy.
Wounds, for every wound you suffer, you have a -1 to all subsequent actions.
That sucks.
It is a bummer. Yeah, and so
we're
potentially you could suffer -3 to your actions before you're incapacitated. What
Great
Al Gunter
mechanic,
tried
though.
to do is soak his damage, which basically just negates it. It wasn't successful, however.
Did he spend a Benny?
So yeah, I have to spend a Benny to even get a chance to try to soak. So that's why it's good to hold on to at least one.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say for particularly cinematic actions, you can gain bennies in this as well, so you can get one back.
Okay.
Lady Iron, you made your knowledge battle check, so you don't get a supplementary action here, but describe how you are orchestrating the mob.
So, I put on my helmet. I imagine my helmet has like a lion face to it.
Of course.
And she like beats her buckler with her falchion, and like to me, and like everybody, she like forms up the ranks.
Nice, okay.
Like she's able to like put everyone where they need to be and stuff like that, and she's standing out in front.
Yeah.
And she turns and says, "If a leader won't go in front of you, they don't deserve to be there." And she wades in.
Nice, okay, awesome. I love it. You can have a benny for that as well.
Pretty good.
Sister Garnet, are you interested in taking an action?
Yes. I am.
Okay.
I I'm torn between a couple of things, but this is pretty dire here. So, I'd like to try to connect with my ancestors.
Okay, yeah. So you have the Connections Ancestors Edge, which basically means if you roll well enough, you can summon the ghosts of your ancestors to wade into battle to help you.
Right? I'm basically Mulan.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome.
It's like it's one of my favorite things about Sister Garnet.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to use this. Okay.
So you need to make a persuasion check.
Oh, okay, great.
And then if you get a raise, then you will get, what is it, 1d6 or 4? I think it's 4 ghostly warriors to help you out. But this is not an actual combat, so we're not going to worry about the number.
Okay, so we're doing a persuasion check.
Ooh.
There's a 6.
Okay.
There we go.
Just needed
It's a
2.
5.
Okay, that's a success with a raise. So how do you entreat your ancestors?
I'm
in this
standing on the edge of the fountain
Uh-huh.
because it's safe. There.
Yeah,
I don't know.
of course.
And I'm,
Plot armor.
I'm playing something to like encourage everybody to go towards Lady Iron and to like do this thing that we're doing, and then like kind of like lean into the music like Yo-Yo Ma, and in like while I'm playing, like I'm on autopilot playing this song, and in my head I'm going to that quiet meditative like focused place in the back of my head, that mindful place, where I can go and like lay this problem at their feet and say, we really need your help.
You find yourself in your mind's eye in a realm that is mostly clouded in mist, but you get the sense that you are elevated and there is some sort of plateau stretching out, and you can feel that this mist is actually the spirits of your ancestors coalescing around you. And you can hear them say, "What is your need, my child?"
These people are desperate and starving, and we are trying to do right by them. We have found that the people set to lead them do not follow the way, and we're trying to fix that.
There is no vocal response, but you feel a swelling in your heart, and it's just warmth and satisfaction, and all of a sudden you open your eyes and you can see, flanked on either side of you, there are 6 ghostly figures who are arrayed in ancient-looking armor, and some of them are wielding like scrolls that they're prepared to read from and that sort of thing. So yeah,
Right?
you've done
It's like
that.
the
That's your
coolest.
action this round. That's not specifically antagonistic yet, so I'm not going to make you make a battle check.
Okay.
Verana, what do you got?
Verana's nowhere to be found.
The camera goes to like where Verana would be, and it.
There's no Verana, and so we like
One of those anime like empty spaces being flashing. Yeah.
instead we cut across town to a figure cloaked in shadow, moving swiftly across rooftops with another smaller, chubbier figure running alongside.
Slightly
it.
furrier.
It is the Red Bear.
Yeah.
And the Red Bear knows that if all of the strongest guards in town are oppressing peasants, then there are no strong guards to protect the coffers of the wealthy.
My God.
Yes, okay,
And
perfect.
once the coffers of the wealthy have been emptied, there will be no coin to pay said strong guards, and therefore
Yay!
the revolution will be with everyone.
The
Very
logic
nice.
is there. The logic is there.
I
It
approve.
works.
Okay, sounds good. So go ahead and give me, I guess, a stealth check.
Stealth check.
Yeah, and this will be to approach the coffers.
Okay, that is a 4.
A 4 is a success, so you managed to make
Oh, actually,
your...
it's a 6 because of my +2.
Ah, perfect. Well, it's not a raise, but it's still a success. So you approach House Von Kor, and you know there's some goods hidden away somewhere in there. But you also notice that there were a couple of guards held in reserve. Looks like they're just hired errants. They're not wearing the livery of the town. But that's that. So at this point, you had a 5.
I did
And
with
you-
a
with
6
with a
because-
+1.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? So, oh Lord. Okay, at this point, you win, and so you will. Oh man, I'm sorry. Yeah, so you got a success. It wasn't a raise, but the opposing team loses 1 token. So now it's 8 to 9. Right?
Nice.
Next round, let's do opposed battle rules again.
Okay.
Yeah, mass battles are
I
hard.
got an ace.
Oh
Oh
man,
my gosh.
7 is my best.
could have been worse.
5.
5, okay. What kind of actions do we want to contribute to this?
I'm definitely shooting more.
Okay, sounds good. Softening up the ranks a little.
Is there any way that I can use my 5 currently to send archers to the roof to where he is?
Narratively, certainly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that can be your action.
Okay, I feel like that's my action. It's to send people to help him.
Okay.
So he has like a contingent of archers. Let's say, I don't know. Let's say there are 3 other archers that go up there with
Yeah,
him.
there.
Sounds good.
I mean, there are a few hunters in town. So.
I will go ahead and count this as air support, so you'll get a +1 bonus on your roll regardless. But because you got a 5?
I got a success.
A success,
So
okay.
I'm going to take more damage.
Okay, so it'll be a +2.
Oh, sorry. That's a 4 because of my wound.
Yes.
So
okay.
yeah.
So here we go. First of all, Sister Garnet and Red Bear deserve bennies for the last round. I forgot to disseminate them. And for damage, we have 6.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't hit you?
Well, I would be shaken, but in mass battle, that's not really
Doesn't count.
relevant.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. All right.
Holding
so,
on.
Yeah, basically the guards see you up there and they hurl some spears at you, but they just clatter off the roof tiles.
It distracts me for a moment, but I'm back in place.
And so we'll skip over Sister Garnet for now. Red Bear, you need to infiltrate House Von Kor, and this is going to be opposed to a notice check.
Okay.
So it's going to be a 4 on my end.
I rolled a 7 on mine.
Okay, so you managed to slink your way inside House Von Kor, and all the nobles are huddled there, terribly frightened. Gathered in, you wouldn't know this, but it's the same place where they were gathered for the banquet the day before. And there's a staircase that goes up, and you keep seeing these people kind of ferry back and forth. They're taking valuables from the nobles, and they're taking them back up into the manor.
Perfect.
They're having sort of a consolation banquet.
Yeah. Any excuse, right?
It's a lot of wine. It's a lot of wine.
So we'll say that the ancestors are a bulwark against the guards as they're attacking, but, Sister Garnet, do you want to make a check?
What are we doing?
We are in the next round of combat, and right now it's 5, 6, 7 versus 7. So if you want to do one more success, then they can get an advantage over the guards this round.
Get it for you.
Got to plug into the matrix first.
Okay. So let's see.
And I think knowledge lore would be fine.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what skill would represent marshaling these ancestors to fight on behalf of the people, right?
Yeah, probably lore, like
Yeah.
some kind of inspirational legend.
You're familiar with the old ways.
Or like the
yeah.
stories of these actual ancestors, maybe, to be like, hey, remember when you did that thing? Do
I
that
like it.
again.
I like it. And I'll give you a +1 bonus to your roll for that too. Ooh! Put no dice!
Yeah.
It is
Well,
a
we got
4,
some bennies.
but you'd suffer damage if you were to settle with that.
You got
Right.
some. Yeah, you got bennies to do it.
It's still it's a 5 this time, which will give you the edge you need, but it would cause you, Sister Garnet, to suffer damage.
Which
But my
could
lore
be
is
dramatic.
+2.
Oh, then in that case you got a 6.
And like you've got like for knowledge lore checks, doesn't it say you gain +2 on those automatically as well?
I think that's
Yeah,
what that means.
that's-
Okay.
that's-
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
just in two
I
places.
factored him into
Ah.
that section.
Yeah.
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 So you got a 6. You do not have a raise, which means you won't escape damage.
All right.
But you do add +1 to the group roll, so
Okay.
it would be a victory this round.
Okay.
Are you prepared to suffer damage?
I mean, no.
Well, it's going to be 10 damage. What's your
Oh.
toughness?
5.
Ooh! So that's a success with a raise, so you would suffer a wound.
All right.
You can soak it if you want to. It would be a vigor check.
But you have to use a Benny to try.
You
that.
do, yeah.
I'll try.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might as well.
That's a D6.
And you guys...
There's a wild die for that too?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a 4?
Yeah.
So you did soak it. Yeah, you soaked it and you don't actually suffer that wound.
Cool.
So one of the abilities that you have is cutting cord, and it's literally
Yeah.
like the note itself can inflict physical harm.
Yeah.
So I imagine like some guard comes up to you or something, and then you just wink, and he gets knocked backwards or something.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, next round. Let's do this.
So we won that,
Yeah. So one more token goes away.
and I'm going to point out They have morale losses for every token they lose.
They do. They now suffer -2 to their rolls.
boy.
Yeah, so the tide is beginning to turn.
I'm into that.
Now, I'm going to spend my last Benny and try and
Final
roll
Benny.
better than a 2. And I got a 3, so it was successful.
I got a 5.
Okay, so automatically you are successful, but it's not a raise, so we can still get there together as a group. You're going to continue shooting him?
I am.
Okay,
Yeah,
sounds good.
until I am done. As,
Ooh,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that die, though.
Nice.
So with a -1, unfortunately, that's only a 7.
But that's still +1, so
Yeah.
that's 6 total for the battle roll.
And I'll take some damage.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Oh.
So that's 8, 13, 14 damage.
Broken all that damage.
So at this point, some of the guards actually have leaf step themselves, and they have jumped up onto the roof, and they are engaging in melee combat
Man.
with you folks.
I do not soak, and so that is going to be 2 more wounds. I am
bummer.
very,
Oh my god.
very
Yeah,
hurt.
you are hurt.
So I'm up.
Somehow, Lady Iron has
sorry.
been on the front lines of this battle.
Because she is Lady Iron.
The person who is in most peril is the archer on the back line.
Wait a second. I only got 3 to my roll, too, because I rolled a... Wait, what did I roll? I rolled a 5. No, I rolled a 3, and I had a -1 or -2, so I only had a 1. So you do have a success with
Oh,
raise
okay.
right
So
now.
the raise, yeah.
But you were successful, so it's 6. And then, Sister Garnet, do you want to do something as well?
I mean, can I guess keep playing? Play harder?
Sure, yeah,
Play
yeah.
louder?
Well, and you can do like a knowledge lore to describe how the ancestors are attacking as well.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Knowledge lore.
That's a 5.
One.
fine.
Yeah.
Success, but not with a raise, so you would suffer damage again. But it does increase it to
No,
+7,
but +2.
5, 6,
The
7.
lore.
7, yeah.
but it's still not a raise. You need an 8 to get a raise.
Oh.
It's an increment of 4 above the target
It's going to
number.
be too
Okay.
hard to re-roll that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
going
I'm
to be
not
tough.
Yeah.
So how do you marshal these ancestors to wade into battle against the guards?
I am, like I said before, I'm pulling the stories of each of the ancestors and weaving them together into like a medley. It's like an extended medley version of all of their tales. Yeah. And then like the undercurrent that comes in the song is like a theme I've been working on for Lady Iron. And,
Okay.
like, there's like a little bit of the Red Bear in there too, just because it's really popular right now and everybody really likes that song.
It's very hot right now.
It's so hot right now. And I feel like the people around the ghostly ancestors are kind of feeling it too.
Yeah,
so they're
totally.
like, yeah, you ghost? Yeah!
Yeah!
Do this! You know?
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, so they wade into battle on your behalf, and then Red Bear, you are infiltrating this manor house, and you need to sneak past these nobles. So it's going to be another stealth check opposed to my notice, which is 1. So good luck.
Hey, I rolled a 5. Let's see, +2, so that's 7.
7. That's a success with a raise over my result. So you definitely get in there, and you are able to make it back to a vault, where you can see there are courtiers who are ferrying these valuables into the vault, just in case the mob wins back at the harbor. Sister Garnet, I didn't forget about that damage you had to suffer. It's going to
You
be
do have
7, 8, 9.
You do have a Benny that you can use to...
So,
Okay. I guess I have to, because I really don't have another need for the Benny. A 4.
A 4 counts, yeah. So you
Okay.
managed to negate the damage again. An
Real
ancestor
close.
dives in the way of the blade and slows its course.
Yeah.
All right, so
I have a question.
Yeah.
Since we've added soldiers thanks to her, do we get another little
know what?
token?
you do.
Yeah.
Yeah!
So also, They are outnumbered now, which means that they suffer an additional -1. So they actually got a 0. And your total result, I think, was 7.
Yes.
So it's still not enough for a raise, but they suffer
7
another
over
loss.
0 is not enough
It's
for a raise.
not enough
wait.
for 2 raises.
Not enough. Oh, so it is a raise. So they lose 1 more.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
All right.
Damn.
I don't know how the raise system works.
Well, typically the target number is 4, and that was what I was thinking,
Yeah.
but it was wrong. Okay, so now they are severely outmatched, and things are really starting to tilt against them. First of all, they've lost 4 tokens, so they suffer a -4. They're also outnumbered, so they suffer an additional -2. So they're at a -6 to their rolls at this point.
Wow.
This is where you start to clean up.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Is there a possible way to try and get them on our side?
That would take a mighty fine persuasion roll,
have
but
to
I would be
change
willing.
songs.
I would be willing to do it.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty low down right now.
Yeah.
So you could probably do it even with just 1 penny.
Yeah. I'm going to try that.
So you make the knowledge battle roll, and you can narrate the actual battle, but I think the actual recruiting would
Will
be better
come.
placed in Sister Garnet's hands.
Yeah, I think so too.
So I got a
Ooh.
-1.
6,
Do it.
7, 8, 9.
9.
Yeah.
Okay, so 9 so far. That's a success with 2 raises.
And then
Yes!
Okay, an
well-
ace. Okay. 7.
Okay.
Not a raise. So
It's
you
okay.
still suffer
It's okay.
damage. Let's
I
go ahead
know.
and get that out of the
Oh.
way. 4, 7. So and you know what? Everybody deserves a Benny for that last round too. So.
Because I imagine it's like they're in battle and Lady Iron like shoots a look back at the fountain and Sister Garnet's like, wow!
I love
Just
it.
like wails on
She
it.
pick
love
slides at the exact right moment.
Yes. Like as the crowd parts and then they go back into the fray.
Like Kubo and the 2 strings.
yeah, it's like Kubo. I'm pulling
Yeah.
Kubo and the 2 strings up in here.
I love it. Okay, cool. So, and I'll even give you a bonus to that. So you do get a raise, and you don't have to suffer damage.
Good.
Yay.
And you add +2 to your side's battle roll, so it's 10-11 for you right now. And did you want to take an action?
No.
Okay, I kind of
I was
figured.
like,
You're taking 10 up on the rooftop. So you got 11. And that's a success with 3 raises because I was at a -1. So they're going to lose 3 tokens, but I'm going to say 1 of those goes over to your side.
Cool.
Just abandoning the mission. And I'm going to use these for tokens so that I know who's doing what. Okay. This is probably going to be the final round of this mass combat.
Okay.
It is, how many is this? That's 10, so 100 mobsters versus like 40 some odd guards at this point. It's just not looking good for them, okay? So let's do the potentially final mass battle roll and see how this goes. And I'm suffering a -7, and so I'm at a -2.
I'm going to keep that 5 then.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's-
sounds good. So that's already a success with almost a raise. You need 1 more point. Does anybody want to contribute that?
I can also put a Benny in. And
Sure,
try to
yeah,
roll.
you've got some pennies to spare. Why not? I didn't get any better.
Nope.
So, okay, but that's still a success, not quite with a raise.
Yeah.
And so they're going to lose 1 more token. And then Red Bear, we need to do the actual stealing
Yeah.
of goods for
Yes.
this thing. So
Steal
how does
it.
this happen?
So what happens? I see people with the open vault carrying things in, and Red Bear sort of like steps out of the shadows in front of these like hapless like courtiers who are just like taking wealth and putting it in the vault, and it stands before them and says, "I am the Red Bear.
Oh,
You know that name because it has been outlawed. I have been denied every right, including my right to life. Yet I stand before you now. Let that tell you my regard for your masters and their ability to punish me.
yes.
You could call for help. There are strong arms patrolling this place. But know this, they will not reach you before I have reached you.
All right.
You must choose.
Let's call this an intimidate, and I'm going to go
Yeah.
ahead and give you a +3 bonus on that because that was
That's pretty
badass.
awesome.
That
That's
was
pretty
good.
badass.
Her like cape is blowing.
Yeah.
And the little raccoon.
They're
is
inside.
like-
Where's the wind coming from?
Beautiful hair light going, right behind.
The bear is billowing her cape.
You must choose. Aid me now in taking all of the wealth from these vaults, or cling to your masters, who any moment now will be overwhelmed by peasants willing to rip them down from nobility.
All right, so they're pathetic. So I'm gonna roll.
no.
I got a 3.
Well, I dropped the die, but it doesn't matter because I rolled a 6, so that's an ace. And there's a 5 on top of that.
Oh my God, 11. So that's a
Plus
success
3.
with plus 3. Yeah. So 14 over my 3. So yeah, you definitely. It's a Prince Humperdinck moment. The courtiers are looking and they're like, they just drop what they're doing, and one of them's like, "I've always wanted to be an outlaw."
Excellent, my friends. Then follow me. The red bear grabs a tapestry, like a sort of scrolled tapestry off the wall, hooks it below the window, jumps out the window, diving out the window, and holds the tapestry taut so that wealth can be poured
And they just
down.
there's pouring going on. Absolutely, yeah. So that happens, and they're going to lose one more thing, and that was a wonderful speech, so have a Benny for that. Now then, the guards are facing severe penalties at this point. They're wildly outnumbered. Ancestors are fighting on behalf of the mobsters. There are archers on the rooftops who are raining arrows down. The knights are demoralized. They don't want any part of this anymore, so they are going to retreat. The guards are basically just going to cast down their weapons. Some of them are like, "I'm your friend, I'm your cousin, whatever, like, we don't have beef," and they turn and run. And at this point, the Daughters of Silk are really starting to like shine as they're chasing the guards away. And Silk and Flame is like, "Yeah, give them hell!" And then send them packing off to the elves. And then she turns to you all and she's like, "The day is won. I'm Silk and Flame, by the way." Yeah. She's actually got an equally firm grip.
She's like,
Yes.
How many handshakes in this game?
Yeah, so the battle is mopped up, the mob is victorious, and they storm off toward House Von Kor. So just as Red Bear is making her escape with all of these courtiers to go off and live a life of outlawry in the forest, the mob shows up, and you realize you're not outlawed anymore because the people who outlawed you are about to be run out of town on a rail. So, yeah, that is the battle. And does anybody have anything they want to do as like a crowning moment in this thing? It's an easy Benny.
As
Not
I
that they're
climb,
angry.
as I climb down, so the the healers are still kind of they've been bewildered by everything around them, and I imagine that at some point they're sort of looking at the burned warehouse and thinking, "Oh, but the herbs, we still need the herbs." And I just sidle up to them and say, "I think you'll find that the villagers' herb harvest was better than previously reported."
Nice. And just to be clear, you're talking to the Leafstone coins?
Yes.
Okay. They are definitely intrigued by that information, but they're a little more intrigued by the mob that is looming right next to them, right? Because they were on the losing side,
So,
it must be said.
all you'll need to do is promise to buy those herbs.
What? Oh, all of them?
Oh, I think so.
Well, it's the Elder King's oath. Let me get you patched up first, and then we can deal with that when it
Oh,
comes. So,
yeah, sure.
First of all, there's
Sure, if
that.
you're offering.
Second of all, Eckert's going to heal you himself, and he gets
nice.
11. So that's going to be
2 wounds.
2 wounds, yeah.
Score.
And then Lady Iron.
I think there's a moment at the end there when like they're completely routed. And there's a moment where everyone could just wipe out what's left of them. And Lady Iron says no. She tells them, "That's not what we're here for. We're not here to kill pawns. We're here to take down a king." And so she
false king.
to take down a false king.
Yeah.
And she leads everyone in a march all the way through town up to the manor house where all of the where all of the nobles, nobles are.
Allegedly.
The alleged nobles.
Wonderful. I love it. Sister Garnet, you've got some ancestors who are hanging around.
Yeah, so as the tide turns and the ancestors are able to kind of slow their roll and stop fighting, Sister Garnet switches modes to a totally different song. It's a really old, like like dance tune. Not like a dance tune, but like a very courtly, like noble, ancient dancing song.
Something
and
to
the
instill
ancestors
pride.
shift from doing doing the fight with the peasants is they turn in and they like begin this courtly dance with each other and then with some of the peasants, and then it all ends up with like the 6 ancestors folding in at where Sister Garnet is at the fountain, and then everybody bows at the end, and Sister Garnet bows to them, and then she's like, Jeff, Marjorie, Philip, Todd, Mark. Did I miss anybody? Who else is here? Siegfried, Roy, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I think they appreciate it too. And the peasants are like, yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
Uh-huh.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I love it. Good job. Red Bear, there is a mob that is gathered outside the noble house. How do you respond?
So Red Bear is currently sitting atop a pile of treasure, surrounded by like these quarters who like, we just did that. We just got away with that. And Red Bear like sees this stream of fire of like people carrying torches coming to the estate. She takes a heavy sigh and turns to her little Red Bear companion and goes, I'll tell you, Red Hand, they managed to pull it off. I almost thought they wouldn't. Well, it would be gauche to keep all of this treasure now, as this community is going to need a lot of it to rebuild. My pirate army! You have served your mistress well, but lawlessness is not a cape that fits any except for the Red Bear herself. Take a tip and carry this wealth on to the new owners of this community. Whatever nobles rise up out of these fires are going to need servants as well, and from what I've seen, patting the stomach of one, it's quite a well-paying job. I imagine you'll want to keep it. She picks up like a bag full of those jade coins, those Leafstone coins, bows, and with her bow does a flourish of her cape and is gone into the night.
I love it. Awesome. Okay, so you get a Benny for that for sure. And here we are. So the next morning, the Daughters of Silk have basically told the Leafstone coins that they're no longer welcome here. They did not acquit themselves well, either in the debate beforehand or in the battle itself. They were trying their damnedest to make things peaceful, right? And the mob wasn't into it. So the Leafstone coins are run out of town on the first ship leaving. Silk and Flame, the leader of the Daughters of Silk, she comes up to you and she says, we really appreciate your help last night. Things are going to be really looking up for the people around here. We're going to do our best to appoint somebody to help us find nobility that's actually noble. Nobility
I will do it.
Will you stay with us and help?
I will.
That would be wonderful. We would appreciate it. And I know you've already given us so much. We want to give you these as a token of our thanks, and they give you each one of the red silken shawls.
Cool!
And in your further adventures in the Blackwood, these shawls will prevent you from suffering any falling damage whatsoever.
Ooh.
But they're also gaudy, and they make you suffer a -1 to your charisma.
What? I don't agree with that.
Yeah, red silk. I don't think that's minus anything to my charisma.
Maria and Garnet are like, ooh.
Perfect.
She also says, I know we shouldn't ask any more of you, but this town is hurting after last night, and if you can give anything, we would graciously accept it to help the neediest among us.
Lady Iron pulls out everything she has in her pockets, and she puts it down. And then she takes off a piece of armor and puts it down, and armor and puts it down, and sword and puts it down. And she gets down to like basically nothing. And then she kneels and says, "For justice, I will be here."
Excellent. All right. And at that point, we will fade to black. And that is the adventure Leafstone and Silk.
Woohoo!
Heroes, thank you so much for watching us. This is an ongoing Kickstarter project. If you're a fan of Savage Worlds, if you like wuxia, if you like fantasy, this is a beautiful blend of all of those things. I recommend heading over to the Kickstarter link. I don't know if we can get that in the chat while we're...
I think Derek put it in there.
We're talking, yeah.
It's been there a few times. Jeff, if you want to throw it back.
Yeah, throw it in once more. Thanks to you so much for running for us. This was a blast. I had a ton of fun, and as was pointed out earlier, if you back the Kickstarter, you will get access to a working draft of this project. The characters that we played, these pre-built characters, are all available for free on DriveThruRPG. So
right.
you can check those out as well.
And in fact, if I may, this adventure, Leafstone and Silk, is also available on DriveThruRPG for free, and 3 other adventures are available for free as well. So you could do a good bit of adventuring in the Blackwood. The adventures themselves are tied to the seasons, so it carries you through an entire year of life in the Blackwood.
Cool.
And that's before you even need to buy the game. So it's, I think, a great deal. If you weren't convinced here, please head over to DriveThru and check out what they have for free for you to use in the store there. I really, again, want to thank everybody so much for playing with us.
Thank you so much.
And, if you've got friends who like Savage Worlds, please force them to watch this YouTube video of our playthrough so that they can get interested in this game themselves.
I will be pimping it like mad.
And with that, see you next time, heroes.
Bye.
See you later!